everyone. Welcome to Eden Fractal, meeting number 54. We're here 1 week after our anniversary meeting. We're embarking on a new year with Eden Fractal. It's great to be here with Gudasol and Eric and Noam and Rosmari and Lisa and Pat and Overjoy and Dwayne and Vlad and Pascal and Marco and Tadas and Jorge. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back, Jorge, as well. We're a couple minutes past top of the hour already, so we're going to go into breakout rooms in probably a few minutes, as quick as we can, basically, but I'll also share a quick presentation with a very quick recap of last week, and then also the topics on the agenda for today that have been proposed on Consortium. So shall I jump into that right now? Does anybody have anything else you want to share before we go into the agenda in the breakout rooms? If so, if anybody wants to say hi or wish us all a happy new year, is this a happy new year for Eden Fractal maybe? If anyone wants to wish anything, then feel free. I hear Patrick moving his mouth, but I can't hear you though. You're muted, Patrick. Okay, cool. Well, if anyone wants to share anything, feel free, but without further ado, I suppose I'll just share the presentation. Welcome everybody to Eden Fractal number 54 once again, and this is just a quick thing, but basically just I just want to thank everybody for the incredible time that we had at the 53rd meeting. I'm still publishing the video from there, and I'll provide an update about that after the breakout rooms. And this also might be backwards right now, so my apologies if it is backwards from my screen. It's showing mirroring, but you can check out the video from when we're planning for the past two sessions, and then the video from last week will be coming soon. We played Fractal DJ and speeches, and we had an awesome time. I just pulled one message from Pascal talking about how fun it was. Overall, I had an amazing time, and I hope everybody did too. I think it went really well. Looking forward to share more. We're going to go into breakout rooms, and then after the breakout rooms, we're going to play agendas. Once again, as always, everybody can make topics on Consortium, Eden Consortium, to propose things you want to discuss or make proposals and so forth. So encourage everybody to do that whenever you have something you want to discuss. And then this week, I just made a topic proposal and Vlad made a topic proposal. So Vlad made a proposal: should Vlad and Red be custodians of Planet Eyeke in alien worlds? Last week, I believe at the beginning of the meeting, we shared an update that Vlad and Gnome and Michael from Alien Worlds had all worked to set that contract infrastructure working. So now anybody can vote to recommend people as custodians. So you can see Vlad's proposal here, and you can vote in here. So far that has one yes vote. Vlad just put this up, and I also put up a proposal here for post-anniversary promotions and automation workflows for year 2 as well. And I have a little Notion document here where you can see some topics I had that we can discuss. This is what I often do for other meetings. Like I'll put together topics on Notion. So I just had some things I wanted to share here about thanking everybody, and then also the winners of the prizes, which we'll announce, and you can see here, and then planned surprises being sent down in video production and social media production, and then goals for that, as well as some ideas that Gnome had as well. So we'll see what we can get to. I think currently I'm not sure which one has more votes because they both say 2K. So we can look into that and see which one will have the most votes and what we'll discuss first, or we can figure it out after the meeting. But with that being said, I will stop the screen share here and we can go into the breakout rooms. Sorry that I am huge right now, so I will turn off my spotlight feature, however I can do that. And once again, I am getting confused by the technology not working. Oh, there we go, the remove spotlight button. Okay, so yeah, hope everybody enjoyed the presentation. Sorry that it was a bit disorganized. I'll make sure that I fix these Zoom issues and everything like that soon, but we can get into the breakout rooms now. Everybody ready to go? Okay, sounds good. There we go. We got some thumbs up. And we have 3 breakout rooms with 4 to 5 participants each. And I will open the rooms. Enjoy. Hey, everyone.
Hey,
What's up, everybody?
How you all doing?
great.
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. A little disorganized, I was saying, and a little bit maybe frazzled. I don't really feel frazzled, but so much that's happening there that I got thrown off by. But feeling good though, doing good, enjoying life, and excited for Fractal and Eden stuff and Gudasol stuff too. Stoked for Gudasol, that's my answer.
I'm trying to Google a word frazzle.
Oh, you don't know what frazzled means? I don't know if it's correct. I think frazzled means like, I don't know. Oh, it means the simple and past tense and participle of frazzle. So there you go.
That did not explain it.
That explains everything.
Yeah.
You just get on the magic school bus and you understand.
That's all. That's how you do it.
More references.
Yes. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, there's another meeting stressed or exhausted, either physically or emotionally. But I think that's over putting it. I'm not stressed or exhausted. I mean, it was just a little bit of technical issues, but don't want to overstate it though. It's all good. Welcome, Jorge, by the way, too. Does anybody feel like leading, like hosting slash moderating this room? I'm happy to do so if y'all would like, but if anybody else wants to, it'd be cool. Da 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 da. I guess not. Okay, does anybody want to go first or share something? Share what they're working on for Eden Fractal community, or uh, say something about their dog or something. Tadas, Rosmari, Gudasol, Jorge. Somebody should answer something. You can say anything really.
Okay, I can start. I will be short.
Cool.
Not much progress this week. I'm kind of after previous sprint where I tried to finish the proof of concept, I'm kind of rested a bit and also trying to organize like how I will work on this in the future and planning a bit what I will work on and in what order, and yeah, thinking about stuff like I have a bunch of tasks, to-do lists, and I want to share them publicly so that potentially other people could help. And yeah, and I think it will help for me as well to it will be an easier way to show on what I'm working on. Like you can keep on tracks, tasks and issues published somewhere on some kind of issue tracker like GitHub and GitHub or Notion. Yeah, and I also updated my Pomelo grant application, so now Albedo grant is in EOCVM category. I had to change it a bit, so now it's kind of the main purpose of a grant is basically to publish Firmament smart contracts on NeoCVM, and it involves publishing all supporting smart contracts and so on. So basically to deploy Firmament on NeoCVM. That's not the main purpose of the whole Albedo project, but to make it compatible to that category, I wrote that it's basically the purpose of that grant. And that's all from me.
Sounds great. Thank you, Tadas. I was reading over your albedo updates page, and it seems like you made a lot of great progress over the past few weeks, and excited to see your Pomelo grant and help support that too. Also, I had some ideas more about the issue tracker too that we can discuss later, but I came across a new tool that perhaps we can discuss tomorrow or something like that. But yeah, anyway, thank you. Would anybody like to, or would like to pass it on to somebody else next to us?
Yeah, I don't know. Jorge is next on my screen.
Cool. And it looks like Jorge is getting ready.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Rory.
What's up?
How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, same. Likewise. Okay, so I'll share my screen. First of all, very honored to be here with all these beautiful people, both beautiful in the outside and in the inside. That's it. Let's share my screen. right here. So as you guys know, I'm leading the Spanish-speaking Fractal. We created our website several months already ago. And within the website, we have these incentives, like a list of the reasons why people should enter the Spanish-speaking Fractal. There we have a list of them right there. And within that list, we have a set of microsites. Let's see if this thing loads. Yeah, right here we have a list of microsites in which merchants can create their own microsite for their respective business. So we have several little businesses here that are part of the currently operating Spanish-speaking Fractal. It's very interesting because, for example, this is one of the products that are being sold. It's a dental toothpaste free of fluor, parabens, sulfites, pretty ultra natural, one of the healthiest toothpaste that I've seen on the market. And my work from the last week and my success in this regard comes in two fronts. First, we held last night the fourth on-site physical meeting for a restaurant for the Spanish-speaking Fractal. There, I onboarded two new merchants that are going to come and provide this fractal, well, not the Eden Fractal, but the Spanish-speaking Fractal with organic milk, initially from cow, and hopefully in the future from goat too, and dairy products, and also organic cranberries, and very, very importantly, water from the nascent fountain right in the top of the Andes Mountains, where they have their land. They are going to bring water free from fluoride to whoever wants to buy in the Spanish-speaking Fractal community. So hopefully, if these merchants, they came to the community just last night in the physical meeting, which by the way was totally financed by me from my Pomelo grant from last season. But if these merchants fall in love with this idea, it would be great, because then the community will have clean water at last. Currently in Colombia, water is totally fluoridated. Well, that on the most important front. Secondly, but also very important, I just got approved for the EVM pool, this new Pomelo grant, which is called a high-risk, high-reward stablecoin protocol, the EOS EVM. It has 0 donations so far. It's super interesting. Basically, it has a protocol that I'll post the links. You guys can read the whole protocol. It consists of these 10 steps on how to create a stable coin by any individual in a totally centralized manner. And whenever any person is about to get liquidated, transfer the whole position, both the debt and the principal, the backing collateral, to the rest of still playing positions. So it becomes a game in which someone that, even with a very little investment, let's say $100, can earn $1 million just by keeping his position open in very harsh markets downturns. So it got approved just this morning. I presented this grant last week, but it wasn't approved. I had to modify it. It got approved this morning. You guys are welcome to have the honor of being the first voters. I also have another grant, which is related to fractal democracy. I'll show you guys. Is about this. a computer simulation of a DAO governance, which I aim to do for this fractal and for the Eden Fractal in general. I'll post a link to all the grants in the Zoom chat and in the Telegram chat. That said, I'll give the word to the guy from Aquarium. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Jorge. That is all awesome, and it's a huge pleasure to be with you too. Gudasol, are you here? I think he chose you. I think it's Aquarius, not Aquarium, but close. And you meant to nominate Gudasol there, right, Jorge? Is that right?
Yeah, then I'll nominate the girl at my right. She's the super beautiful, super amazing Rosmari.
Thanks so much, Jorge. So for this past week, I worked on a few things. First of all, thanks everyone for joining the anniversary last week. It was really nice and good to hear from all. On the back of that, as you probably know, but we spent it is a new process for Cignals for the Cignals tool which we use to count the votes for one of the games, the most inspiring speech, and it took us a while to calculate that because we did it manually, because we didn't have the, let's say, formulas that we could have used in Excel. But Noam, he's quite experienced in that, so he reached out after the meeting to discuss how he can pivot the table and work with some formulas to calculate the results quicker. And we catched up, me, Dan, and Noam, about Cignals, and like I shared a copy of the spreadsheet, and then he actually made a tutorial on how to pivot it so that we also checked that the results were matching with how I did it too, but it was much quicker. So that was productive, and we'll probably use that that method moving forward, or just a combination of what works best and faster. So we'll improve more on the Cignals process. And also, I've been really focused on Notion as a tool. I know, Jorge, you've been using Notion, and also the tasks and the subtasks that you can create in there, really useful. So I've been watching a few courses on Notion as well as Notion AI. And I'm gonna start like brainstorming ideas on how to improve the process in Notion in combination with Eden Fractal meetings too. And also me and Dan have been collaborating on post-anniversary promotion ideas and brainstorming what we can do to expand the outreach and potential ways for just reaching out to more people with the recordings that we made last week. And we're still in the editing process. I think Dan will touch on this more soon. But yes, we've been brainstorming on what to do next and how, and I'll be helping with that in the upcoming days and weeks too. That's from me. And I'm passing it on to Gudasol. I saw you in there. Let me know if you have any questions too.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I actually kind of missed like the second half of the last presentation as well as most of yours because I just got a delivery. But I will trust that there's a lot going on, and I'll do my presentation. So the biggest thing I did this week is I also published my Pomelo grant. and I was looking for a link for that, but I didn't find it in time, so I'll share that shortly. So along with that, the Pomelo grant is called Killer App, and what we're doing is we're developing the data standards similar to what I was talking to Lisa about for what I believe will be the future of blockchain. How that's related to Eden Fractal? Well, it's just going to provide like more tools. Specifically, there's going to be a lot of like atomic assets tools. So some of the things that I'm working on is a standard that allows people to subscribe to a hidden field on an NFT. Right now, Atomic Asset, they have the hidden field featured, which they didn't launch with. And it's something on a lot of blockchains that you buy an NFT and then you can access this hidden field. So that's something I've been working on. The other thing, also tech related, that I'm working on is XMS, which is an extensible metadata standard. And I will shout out the guy from SaveAct, Kevin, who actually did a lot of the work, although I will be taking his work and making it sort of more useful to a broader context. So that XMS, extensible metadata standard, is going to allow people to parse memos a lot easier. Right now, the memo field is pretty much a data field that can do anything, right? You can put anything in the memo field. We were perhaps the first project that heavily used emojis in the memo field, and we also have gamified the memo field both with our Everstones as well as our gold payments. So along with that, I was already doing some of this parsing, but I wanted to make like a metadata standard that can allow people to not only use like better memos in blockchains, but also to define standards for how you name your files. So as we get into AI, as we get into these sort of tertiary, these next level technologies, we have the opportunity to better collect the information and as well as better communicate the information into the AI. We've seen how these keywords with programming can add a lot of power, a lot of foothold for the AI to run. But what I want to do with that is to encourage people to save your files with better names. I mean, it sounds so simple. It is so simple, but like really, it's so important for SEO. It's so important for all these different things. So again, it's something that might not be related to Eden Fractal, but I'm really passionate about it, and I think it will help all people wanting to build on this technology. In addition to that, I ran our 12th meeting for Aquadac. That went well, and then I started to make the NFTs for the rewards. We're having our reward ceremony next week. Rosmari, you missed the meeting, so yeah, we're having you'll have the opportunity to like share your experience with Aquadac, as well as we'll do the NFT awards and things like that. And it should be a good time. And also you'll be able to promote your things. I think I went too long and I kind of rambled in a lot of different directions, but that's what I did this week. And I can't see the participants. Who do we have? Did Tadas go? Tadas did not go yet, no?
Tadas did. He went first. I think it's just me who's left now.
Okay. All right, then you're on, Dan.
Okay, well, sounds great. Thank you so much, Gudasol. Really appreciate it. And yeah, awesome work all around. I've been really enjoying everything you've been doing, especially with the Aquadac and the token standard stuff. Sounds really helpful too. I'll try once again to see if I can share my screen, see if it works now. If not, no, it still says that it's not sharing correctly, right? Oh no, now it's working, right? Okay, cool. So, yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Rosmari. Yeah, so now thankfully that is working. So I'll share what I've been doing. Great to hear from everybody. Of course, really exciting, really inspiring. And I just pulled together some slides of things I did. So for one thing, I went on the EOS Fireside Chat yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. There was about 70 people or so, including Eva Rose and several of the leaders at the EOS Network Foundation there. And I spoke, it wasn't as prepared as I would have liked. I spoke for maybe like 15, 20 minutes. And then we also had some extended conversations with Martin and Stefan, gave an overview of the anniversary event, as well as a general overview of Eden Fractal for the past year for people who weren't very familiar with it yet, and I had some notes written, so I recommend people listen to that and you could share it. I'm also working on curating these into like a new article about Fireside Chats and also the anniversary article. Ooh, that's something I should bring up. I have to bring up actually. So yeah, I went on there and that sparked a lot of interest from Martin Brower and Stefan and Daniel Keys Joy rather, who are on the Pinex team, who work with EOS Nation and work closely with the ENF. Because I've done a lot of research into substreams in the graph, which is what their tool or what their team Pinex is building, the EOS Nation team. And this is a tool that we can use for the Cignals game that we did a demo of last week. I have a Notion page here with a lot of screenshots and videos where people can learn more about this. And I think I shared a little bit about it, but basically let you automate, get data from the blockchain really easily. So it can be helpful for pulling blockchain data between and to Google spreadsheets and stuff like that. And so started the discussion there and we'll follow up with them soon, but they were excited to hear about the synergies going on with that. And yeah, there's a lot of cool videos here you can check out. Another thing that was cool about this Fireside Chat too is Jesse, who I also contacted because I want to make these kinds of show notes. I don't know if you've heard Jesse on the Fireside Chats. He's been mentioning that he did, he's got a new company called Podsom, where he is making like podcast summaries basically with artificial intelligence in the bees with ChatGPT and other tools. He's also using Midjourney to make really cool images. So he did a summary of the Fireside Chat. He messaged me about it, and then I messaged him back to help him with some links. There was a summary of the speech that I gave and the discussion for Eden Fractal during the Fireside Chat that you can read here, as well as the rest of the Fireside Chat. And then I also reached out to Jesse to figure out how to do this for the show notes and everything else. I think this could be a super helpful tool for all fractals, like the Spanish-speaking fractal and Aquadac and so forth. I think that Douglas was using it a little bit as well, but learning how to use these ChatGPT tools, and then it's cool that it was featured, so I retweeted that as well. As Rosmari said, I was also working a lot on Cignals. I was working with Rosmari and Noam on this, and Noam has a lot of knowledge about how to make formulas work and stuff like that. So we had a call over the weekend and we've been talking, messaging back and forth, figure out how to automate these. Eventually the substream stuff can help with this. But for right now, we're just automating it more in the spreadsheet. So you saw last week, I don't know if everybody had to leave before we did this, but Rosmari manually entered a lot of this stuff. So huge thanks to Rosmari for doing that. And we also had the different pages, but we're working on one by one, getting all of these things automated. And Noam has a lot of knowledge that I think we can get most of it automated so we can use the Cignals game more commonly to determine signal power and so forth for many more games. I'm also thinking about in future weeks, we could do another Cignals game with Pomelo grants, where people could rank the most entertaining Pomelo grants, and we do a Pomelo pitch session. So think about trying it again there. And I also participated again in the Aquadac that Gudasol's been hosting. I join these most weeks, and I just figured I'll feature them here. I've been curating a page. It's still pretty sloppy right now. I'll clean it up more, but there's some information from when Aquadac first started, and I wrote some articles about it, and then Douglas has been doing some great tweets and sharing a cool article that he shared about a week or two ago that I just figured I'd show here, where he gave a summary. I think he used ChatGPT on some of this, but really cool stuff that we can do to like make it fun. He had some jokes about Pixie, beautiful shiny eyes. There's like a little puppet that he has there, and then also there's like ranking and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see how Douglas is exploring how we could do this. And overall, it's been great participating in that. And I think it's really helpful to spread these consensus games with everybody. So thank you, Douglas, and as well as Rosmari for participating in this. I also put together my Eden Creators Pomelo grant this season too, and I just shortened it a lot. Thanks, Rosmari, for providing some feedback last season, but I just summarized it in like 4 paragraphs, which is nice, and then made it more about games and GameFi. So, and then I also summarized in the last week's or last season's thing, linked some articles and stuff, kept it simple. It's under review now, but it'll be done pretty soon. And it's all about helping communities grow with fractal consensus games and link Eden Fractal and stuff like that, of course, there. And then also I made this topic proposal for this week about post-anniversary promotions and automation workflow for our 2nd year. And with that, there is a Notion page that I put together that's curating a lot of the different things that I've been thinking about and working on. I also made this thumbnail better because I want to start making the thumbnails a lot better and more interesting, engaging, but announcing winners and prizes. And I've been speaking with Vlad and also Douglas about the best ways to send out EOS because I want to install the Eden Fractal software on the Eden Creators account, and Douglas gave me a tip about Bounty Block to send out the NFTs more efficiently and think out ways to send out NFTs to all the winners as well as just one to everybody who participated. And then I've been working a lot on video production too, because we did a different kind of video production where we recorded it. I'll share more of this in the post breakout room, and I've probably been 5 minutes too, so I'll wrap it up now momentarily. But yeah, I've been working a lot on this to make awesome videos and promote them from the speeches. Like I think we can make clips of the speeches to help promote Eden Fractal, and we can also do tweets, and we can use these AI tools to get it out better. So I've been working on that, and also I've been Rosmari's been mostly taking the lead on the Notion.so/projects, but I've also been learning with that. I'm really excited about that. So I put together that page, and then also there's another page here where the anniversary article, that is what where I've been curating a lot of this stuff that I've been working on as far as like a to-do list for things to publish the video clips and thumbnails and ChatGPT and prize and stuff like that. And also I listened to your song, Jorge, which I really like. So I think I'm making a playlist of Fractal DJ songs. But anyway, there's that. I've been looking into these new video production tools and working on the NFT, but that's for me. Sorry if I went over time. I didn't have my timer set up, but happy to answer any questions. And I guess we have about a half hour or so until we have to reach consensus, go back into the community room. So does anybody have any thoughts or questions for anybody in the room before we go into consensus?
I do.
Cool.
I do have several questions. First one is for you, Dan. So you're helping to automate the signals process. I remember there was a big weight on the current delegates, correct? There was a vote amplifier of like 1/2. And I think that's a good idea. If there is an incentive for people to actually compete and go into this delegate position, but currently people that goes there in many rooms, people go there because no one else wants to go or doesn't have time to go, because it's pretty much a voluntary, totally free position. So I think we have a weak spot there. And aside that, I would like, of course, before onboarding the whole Cignals process to Eden Fractal, to have an open discussion with all the community, to see the ins and outs and all the small implications. I think, and that this must be clear, that it's a great initiative that you are doing, but because the implications it can have, it needs to be done to the highest possible standards. And yeah, I wanted to it's more than a question, it's a comment. Now to Gudasol, so you said you're working on a XM what protocol for helping people standardize?
Yeah, so it's an extensible metadata standard. I can probably link to the repo as well. But the idea is like you can define a text string, and a text string that can be converted into a data object, which a smart contract can use, if that makes sense. So it's really not that difficult of a thing to do technologically. All you have to do is parse the string and then define which characters are the delimiters, and then split it into the key and the value. So like taking the string and putting it into data. But it's really important because it's like one of these tools that kind of needs to be published so that developers can have a lot more control over what they do. Not that they can't do it, but they might not think to do it, or they might try to implement it in their own way. So like by defining it this way, it's hopefully, if it catches any sort of steam, it'll make memos easier on like any sort of blockchain and give people like a plug and play way to use the memo for greater effect.
So how do you present? How do you intend to present this standard you're creating to the whole blockchain industry?
Well, so I'm doing it for me, to be honest. But like what I'm doing is like as I'm building this technology that I need, I just release it open source. So I can jump on and grab the repo for you. But originally I had just looked at making the metadata standards. So I just released the geotemporal metadata standard. And like I was like, okay, well, I'll just make a metadata standard for antelope to make it easier for people to define like their own sort of schema standards. And then I was like, well, that doesn't make much sense. I can do wider and broader than that. So I'm not trying to take up too much time, but I hope that answered your questions. And I'll also link the repo.
Great, thank you. Okay, I don't have more questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. And yeah, thanks, Gudasol, too. I'm looking for, I don't totally understand the app yet still, but I'm looking, it looks really interesting. So it sounds really exciting. And I'm looking forward to learning more about it and probably just listening to the video again because I missed it. I want to respond to what you said there, Jorge. Thank you for the feedback and the comments about Cignals. I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, I agree. It's something we can certainly discuss more. So just to, I guess, be clear and also provide a bit more context, the Cignals, that was just the first demo. And I was originally planning on having it where like there'd be a lesser amplifier for people who were delegates in the past. The original thing I was thinking was 50% for current delegates amplifier and 25% for if you were a delegate in the past 12 weeks before that. But that was just too difficult to calculate, and I figured best to just keep it simple. But yeah, and then the longer term vision, it's like you could have different spreadsheets, and then different people who want to reward different things or use different consensus mechanisms, then they could do that. So you could have like a different tab for this view with a multiplier, or this view without the multiplier, or this view with a different multiplier, and stuff like that. And so my thinking was, this is the first demo to try it out and see how it works. And then I'm certainly open to the delegate amplifier being changed or adjusted or however much. That was just kind of a first suggestion for something that I thought was pretty cool. And then the prizes that I did there, because I gave out, I still haven't given it out. I'm still working with Vlad to actually install the software to be able to automatically give it out. But I'm giving out 200 EOS, or actually 150 EOS for the Cignals, 50 EOS for Fractal DJ. So 150 EOS was just my money that I figured that I'll just send it out according to how the signals go for that specific algorithm. But then if we want to use it in larger context, of course, we can discuss it, or if anybody else is donating funds or wants to build in a certain way, then they can. And then I'm also planning in future weeks to donate funds in a similar way for different prizes, but very happy to take feedback into account and design in different ways. And I think your comments all make a lot of sense. And yeah, it's just the beginning, really. So I'm glad that you appreciate the tool and find value in it. And I'm looking forward to working to refine it, and would be happy to hear more of your feedback and then also collaborate with you or anybody else if you're interested in doing so.
Sure. So we have still time, I guess. What is the feedback you received? I couldn't hear the last week's Fireside Chat when you were presenting the Eden Fractal, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know the feedback from the bigger EOS community about what we're doing here.
So, I mean, a lot of people don't get it, I think, because there's like 80 people on the call or so, or 70 people on the call. And I'd say most people are just like vaguely familiar with what we're doing, but they're not totally sure about it yet. And this is just my guess. I don't really know. You know, some people are really excited about it. Like there was Drew Bob Joy, Andrew Ware, who's in the chat, and he shared several comments. He shared that he was really excited about the idea of Fractal DJ. He has friends who are musicians, and they have like a musician podcast where they all get together, and he's been trying to get them to do fractal stuff. And so he asked about the tools, and I shared with him the tools, and he actually gave a great idea about how we should have like one instruction article where people can learn how to deploy the tools. So Andrew Ware is definitely really excited about it. He's been excited about Fractally for a while, basically since Fractally was announced. And then Stefan liked it too. Stefan gave good feedback. And then Martin and Stefan and Daniel Keys, it really sparked a lot of discussions about the substreams and the Pinex, because the EOS Nation team hadn't really announced Pinex much to, actually it's pronounced Pinex, I think. They hadn't really announced Pinex much to the EOS community, but they've been building it. It's using the graph, which is a very, very big and popular application. It's actually bigger than EOS, and it's like people call it the Google of blockchain, where it gets data out of the blockchain. But they've been building that and devoting a lot of resources to that. So I think they were very pleased and excited that Eden Fractal and our community was looking into this kind of tool that they've been building for a while, and that's like one of the first times they've had a lot of interest from the EOS community in that. As far as I know, I'm not really sure, but they were really excited about that. And that's, you know, Daniel Keys and Stefan and Martin, all the people on the EOS Nation, and Pomelo and Pinex team. And then other than that, it would have been great to have more discussion. I think Stefan also didn't want the episode to go for too long. So at some point I said, if anybody has more questions, then feel free to let me know. And Stefan was like, that's enough. So I guess Stefan, he still doesn't totally get it. But he was interested. I also spoke in the past 2 weeks too. And when I mentioned that we were thinking about it as consensus games, he really liked that too. So I think we have a lot of work to do to get the word out more amongst the EOS community, because that's a great first audience to reach out to and market of people who would be interested and can really benefit from these games. And there's a lot of alignment there. People are getting in. Some people are really excited, but I think we have a lot of work to do to also get the word out more. And that's one of the things I'm hoping to do with this stuff I was talking about now. Say, for example, we share our speeches in short videos and promote those with tweets and stuff, that we can get the word out. Because a lot of people, it's difficult for them to watch a 3-hour video or really know what's going on. So I think we need to be able to share it more concisely with them as well. And also hearing from more voices is good too. So I know during the last Pomelo season, actually, when we did pitch sessions, we had some good ones with me and you, Jorge, and Rosmari, and a few others doing Pomelo pitch sessions about fractal stuff. So I think that was really good too.
Great, amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to more of it. I see Rosmari's unmuted.
Yeah, I just an idea came to mind that we can promote Pomelo season 6 pitch sessions in Eden Fractal too, so more people can even join. And we can use the voting, the Cignals voting then, so that they could also experience that. Well, we could also experience that, like, all of us. But if new people join or because there's not that many places to pitch projects on Pomelo, so we could use that meeting to be just another pitch session available out there. And I don't know if we have to collaborate with Pomelo, whoever's working on Pomelo, but if they could also include that into the available pitch sessions article that they have on formula.Io. I don't know if that would be possible, or if we can at least promote it in the Pomelo the Pomelo Telegram channel at some point when we're ready with the details and we know the dates. I think that just came to mind.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Stefan actually mentioned, because last season, last Pomelo season, we had 2 Eden Fractal Pomelo pitch sessions. They were a little bit last minute. We didn't really have that much time to promote it in advance. But I remember I think I mentioned it on another Fireside Chat back then, and Stefan had mentioned that anybody else who's hosting a Pomelo pitch session should reach out to him so that he can promote it as well. He also does pop tokens too, which we could also do. So yeah, but he basically encouraged us to reach out, and I just didn't have the time or bandwidth to do it at the time. But that's definitely something we should do. Now we can be a lot more coordinated with marketing out to the EOS community, hosting that Pomelo pitch session, inviting people. That's an excellent idea, Rosmari, and I think we should definitely do that, because that's a great way where it makes sense for EOS community members to come and share their grant with us, so we can learn about their work, and then they can also learn what we're doing and have fun with it too. So yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
Thank you.
And also the audience here is pretty familiar with Pomelo and how it works, so that's a great audience for whoever is going to present. too.
Yep, absolutely. And it can be a good time too, if we can get the signals automated, then we can also give them extra rewards for participating, and then we can show them more about our fun consensus games and how they can be helpful. So it could be a really good
And
opportunity all
NFTs.
around. And NFTs too.
NFTs with Pomelo.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this
Thank
year.
you.
I think we have the opportunity to get our act together more. Like we've been doing well. Great idea, Gudasol, or great idea, Rosmari from Gudasol. So like, I think this year we can promote a lot more to the EOS community and also wider communities, and we can offer a whole lot of really helpful stuff and grow a lot.
Yep.
Incredible.
I also had like very quick question, because I think we have 10 minutes or 15
Yeah,
minutes probably.
Yeah, we started 8 minutes late, so that means that
18.
we'll go. Yeah, we have 15 minutes left.
Okay, very quick question. Jorge, you know the sort of e-commerce part of the Notion in the Notion tab in the Spanish Fractal about selling. How does that work exactly? Is it how do the payment goes and the shipping? Is it within the Spanish territory? Or how do you benefit from, what is the main benefit, I would say, for this? And are you focused on guys getting new businesses to join?
Yeah, I'm focused on getting new businesses to join. As of now, I personally don't receive any benefit. The payment rails are not implemented on board of Notion. Currently, people just create their microsites and post the prices both in Colombian pesos and in respetos, which are the currency of the equivalent of the Eden token here, but for the Spanish-speaking community, for the Spanish-speaking fractal. So the people who belong to this Spanish fractal agree to accept a partial payment of their products in respetos. And that's been my main goal. I would like to make this automated so that from Notion, maybe you can plug an API so that people can connect directly their wallets and do the transfer online, the buying online, and then people receive the shipping at their house, pretty much as Amazon does. That's a pretty big dream to have. Currently, we are quite far from that. Yeah, but if at some point, well, the thing with the Spanish-speaking fractal is that there is no technical people there. There is one girl who is a biologist who works with bees. She is a professional biologist, entomologist, which, I mean, she's totally specialized in insects and bees. There is this other merchants who have farms, as I said before. They have goats and cows, and they cultivate cranberries. There is this kind of people, like the people you will find in the mountains of South America, and no technical people at all. I'm the most technical guy, and I've been trying to do the smart contract for already 6 months unsuccessfully. So we have several things to offer, but still we have several challenges to overcome. I don't know if that answers your question.
It answers my question. Well, I hope you find technical resources soon when you need it. And I wish for the business to grow.
Maybe one thing we could do, if you agree, is to have a meeting where you could give us your input about how to improve our website on Notion, how to make it more merchant friendly, if you like. And maybe I can introduce you. You don't speak any Spanish at all. You were living in Mexico.
A little bit only.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's connect on Telegram.
Great. Thank you.
Sounds good.
I'll connect with you too, Jorge, because I've got like I've been working on a Gumroad API implementation where you can add a required field to the Gumroad page, and you can basically require people to put in their their address, and that can allow you to give people NFTs and things like that. And then that also allows you to accept the fiat payments and use all their sort of shipping things. So I won't talk about that now, but I will follow up with you about that.
Telegram, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gudasol and Rosmari and Jorge. Awesome to see these collaborations happen, and happy to help however I can with that, Jorge, too. And then hopefully all this stuff that we're doing promoting fractals can really help grow and attract more technical developers, too. I'm sure it will. But anyway, we should probably get any consensus, though, because we only have about 10 minutes left to get to consensus. I know Tadas started up a fractogram group. Thank you, Tadas. And so far, I've joined, and Tadas has joined, and Rosmari joined. So Gudasol and Jorge, could you please join that group? Tadas has shared a link in the Zoom chat.
I'm joining. Give me please 1 minute.
Okay. Cool. And yeah, this is rough. It's rough as always. It seems like reaching consensus on who deserves 6 and 5 and so forth, because everybody's doing amazing work.
Can you post the link of the new chat room on Telegram, please?
Sure. I'll put it in the live chat. And I just tagged you.
Great. I'm in.
Okay. Cool. And please enter your account name. Oh. We don't have to do it again, Tadas, we already did it, right?
Yeah, you can reply to either prompt.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. So Jorge is the only person who hasn't responded yet to the prompt. So if you could please do that, Jorge. Oh, Tadas didn't either. Hope you've been enjoying the room, by the way, Tadas. You've been quite quiet for a while now. Hope you're having fun. Okay. And it looks like we're ready, Tadas, if you want to.
Yep. Please vote for level 6. I see only 3 people have voted.
Yeah, we haven't received votes from Rosmari or Gudasol yet. Could you please vote?
Okay. I see everyone has voted, and we have Dan for level 6.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll appreciate it.
Level 5. Okay, so 3 votes for Jorge and 2 for Douglas.
Okay. I voted for Douglas, but I'm also happy to vote for Jorge. I think Billy did awesome work. So I could just switch my vote and just make condense simple. Although I do really appreciate what Gudasol's been doing for a long time, and also helping out with the NFTs last week. I think that's super helpful, and I said this new tool. But I suppose I could just switch to make it simple. But does anybody else want to share thoughts about why they voted for whoever they voted, or advocate for anybody? I also love what Jorge is doing with both the Notion page and the businesses in Spanish Spectral, as well as your advocacy for Eden Fractal in the Eden on EOS community chats for the past few weeks, or I guess that was a couple weeks ago now, Jorge, but I really appreciate that a lot. And as well as your speeches, and also the new stablecoin thing sounds really interesting too. So Yeah, thanks so much for that, both Jorge and Gudasol, for all your excellent work. Anybody have any thoughts about that, or should I switch my vote now?
I think that Gudasol has done lots of work and lots of work in progress. And that's why I voted for him. Although, just thinking about just being focused on Eden Fractal specifically, I think probably Jorge is more focused on how that would benefit the Eden Fractal at this moment of time. But I'm sure Douglas's tools and whatever he's building, all those would be beneficial at some point for Eden Fractal too.
This is a tough decision to make. I'd like to say that I downloaded, I dumped a lot of cash yesterday on the Spanish-speaking Fractal on-site meeting on the restaurant in Bogota. So if I can get some extra support from you guys today, I'll really appreciate it.
Let's change my vote.
Cool.
I also voted for Jorge because of that. Yeah, it's way more towards Eden Fractal, and like keep in mind I'm doing this stuff kind of for me, for the projects I'm working on, and it just happens to benefit the community, and I do want you guys to know about it, so that's why I share.
Thank you guys, really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Okay, cool.
Level 4.
Okay, and so far there's 3 votes in. Haven't received a vote from Jorge or Gudasol for level 4 yet. In the future, we probably should also, we weren't the most economical with our time because we were getting into all sorts of interesting discussions. We're kind of rushing through consensus here because we only have like 5 minutes left or so, 4 minutes left.
Jorge, have you voted
No.
for level 4?
For some reason, Telegram is not. I just did.
Consensus.
Okay.
Okay, so Douglas for level 4 and level 3. I urge to vote for Rosmari, yes. So Rosmari
Yay.
has 4 votes.
Thank you, Tadas.
Cool.
It's
Sounds
good
good.
to take rests too. It's important.
Yes.
Yeah, and last week during the Fractal DJ, Tadas, you were saying that you hadn't been bottom ranked in a while, and you liked that or something. So I figured I could make you happy again with that.
Yeah, now I'm trying to make a streak.
Right. Well, hopefully that streak won't last too long. I don't imagine it will. I think probably next week you'll come out with some amazing stuff, and we'll want to put you 6 again. But I'm glad you're graceful about it too, and of course I always really appreciate it. I'm sure you're probably being humble too, and you probably made some really great breakthroughs this week as well that are emerging or something. Okay, and then delegate. Who's interested in being a delegate? I can pull up the delegate spreadsheet to see who is a delegate.
I cannot be a delegate this week. I have a meeting with a lawyer 3 hours after this meeting, which I have to prepare. So I have to
want to be.
run. Okay, I'm voting for you, Rosmari.
Thanks. Dan, you like I think do you want to be?
Well, if you want to be, that's cool. I'm just checking the spreadsheet to see who is the delegates, or are you a delegate right now? Yeah, you were elected as delegate last week, and I was also
Was
elected
I?
as delegate last week. Yeah, Council 35. I'll share the in the Telegram chat. We do have to get going in like 1 to 2
Oh
minutes.
yeah, I was. Oh, sorry then.
Douglas, do you want to be a delegate?
Or Tadas.
I do actually want to be a delegate for
Okay.
one time, for once. So,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to vote for Gudasol because Rosmari, myself, and Tadas were all elected last week.
Okay, I'm voting for Gudasol also.
Cool.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
by the way, Gudasol, can you make it for the next 4 weeks for the hour afterwards?
Yeah, I think I can. So,
Okay. Great. Well, looking forward to it
Voted.
then. Thank you very much.
I'm very proud of you.
Unanimous consensus for Gudasol. Consensus or delegate Gudasol. Maybe you can add that as part of your
thank
rapper
you
name.
guys.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. I suppose I should start closing out the room. So I'll hit end breakout room and it will end in 60 seconds. Thanks everybody so much for the
Can you guys
awesome
please?
time.
Okay.
Was that all right?
I just want to ask Douglas. He went to the first meetings of the Genesis Fractal with Daniel Larimer, and now he's coming again to these meetings in the Eden Fractal. I wanted to ask about his feedback on how things have evolved.
You're muted right now,
You're
Gudasol.
mute.
I was gonna say, I think it's the room's about to close.
3 seconds.
Maybe I can do that I can give a little feedback in the outer room, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can
Sure.
also go for it in 3 seconds too if you want now. But because we also have some agendas in the second room. But if you want to talk about a little bit at the beginning, then we can too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I couldn't say anything useful in 30 seconds, but I can do it in 3 minutes or so.
You can wrap it in 12 seconds, maybe.
Or do it in the chat in Eden Fractal.
That
Chat.
works. Oh,
No, he can say. Why not?
hello, everybody. Welcome back to the community room. Hope you all enjoy your breakout rooms.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, Barry. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. Also, thanks, Melissa, for joining. Hope you enjoyed. I think that was the first time you participated in a breakout room. If you'd like to, I think you introduced yourself a little bit in the past. If you'd like to say hello or introduce yourself a bit, then feel free. That would be welcome. And hope you're enjoying the Eden Fractal meeting so far.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, I did enjoy that meeting. That was quite an interesting meeting. Set up my first EOS wallet. It sounds like everybody in that room is doing a lot of good things. A little bit of what I'm here for is just data in relation to combing through the data, looking at the tech. That's what I do on other blockchains, seeing how things can be improved or little areas for the community that might be of concern. So that's basically what I am here to assist. And there are some other things that I do bring from other chains projects that are, of course, always interested in exploring other areas of the blockchain. But things are different. You know, the tech on different, although it's all decentralized tech, things are very different on other blockchains. So that's what I'm looking at for the next few weeks is just how things differ, how things similar, and figure out where some pitfalls are in other blockchains. Are they in this blockchain? Are they in that blockchain? So I look forward to looking at EOS, Wax, Antelope, all the things I have already kind of delved into, the coding, the scripts. I do a lot of building of technology too on other blockchains. So of course, that's always something I'd be interested in other blockchains, such as EOS, Wax. So yes, that's me. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out at any time and just make contact.
I do have a question, if you may.
Mhm.
Are you somehow related to government?
No, I do not. No, I know data aggregation is always a sticky situation. A lot of people tend to shy away from it, but we are actually seeing how it can improve communities and other blockchains just to review the data. We're not out to bring the axe down on anybody. So, but no, I do not work with any government agencies. I'm not a hire of government agencies. I am a nurse, actually. I started during nursing. I got into this during COVID via being scammed, and I delved into the technology for about a year, well, a little over 2 years when I exited out of nursing in 2021. So it became a interesting topic. I didn't realize that there was so much free technology out there that could be utilized. And then delving into blockchain, I then realized that there was a lot of opportunity there as well. So no, but to answer your question, no, I do not work for any government agencies, nor will I work for government agencies. I don't mind in relation to coming to the table. I'll come to the table with anybody, enemy, foe, whoever, if there is true topic of conversations there. Otherwise, no.
That's what we need.
Yeah, it's absolutely
You both get
lovely
that
to hear
question a
you
lot,
talk like
though, I
that.
have to say.
Excellent. Well, what was it you saying, Lisa, there? I didn't quite hear you.
I have noticed, knowing her for the past year, she does get that question a lot.
I do. And it's okay.
What
Do
prompts
what?
the question?
Cool. Well, Perry asked what prompts the question, but we also don't have to ask too many questions. We do have some topics on the agenda. I don't know if you want to respond to that, Melissa, about what prompts the question, or we can also move on to if you'd like.
Yeah, really quick, what does prompt the questions is, of course, being that there is a most of the time it's people trying to figure out why I want the data and where is it coming from, and why would you even want to look at the data? Why would you build tools for the data unless there was some sort of government agency paying you, or you were working for a lot of money to do that? So that usually prompts the question. And of course, I've gotten questions from other known scammers that have, they get a little concerned. I understand it, but that's not what I'm here for. So I'm not here to take anybody to jail. And that's usually where people's minds go straight to, uh-oh, something's getting ready to happen. Uh-oh. No, it's not like that.
Why don't we just ask everybody in the room who works for either the government or an NGO raise their hand?
Okay, and how about we move on to the next topic now?
All right, we're gonna move
on. But also first, before we move on, I just want to say thank you, Melissa, very much for joining and sharing. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and you're very welcome to join. We meet here every week, and also if you have any questions about EOS and Wax and Antelope, there's lots of people who are great builders here that are happy to answer, and also about Eden Fractal and fractals in particular too. I'm looking forward to learning more about your work with data analytics and everything else you're doing. And yeah, feel free to reach out. You're welcome. And then also thanks, Lisa, I think, because I think Lisa invited you too. So if I'm not mistaken, so thank you, Lisa, as well for inviting Melissa, and looking forward to working with you more and learning more about you, Melissa.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. You're very welcome. Okay, cool. And Pascal, you're muted. You're saying.
And she left. She
just turned her camera off.
I just want to mention that she was very good at creating her account.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, she's very good at creating her account. Okay.
Yeah, at least I created, I guess, under agreement. It's not very hard to download the app and then just kind of click a few buttons.
There we go.
So
very good.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Well, glad it worked out well, and you're welcome. Thank you. And yeah, I'm glad to hear it wasn't too hard. I know some people like Noam, for example, had some issues with the account. I also saw Pascal wrote a message to Noam about submitting your consensus. I encourage everybody to submit their consensus on the app if you haven't done so already. I'm going to do so in a moment. And then also, Melissa, by the way, there was one thing that Gudasol wrote. He said, happy you're here. And he said, will you please link your GitHub? So I don't know if you have GitHub, but if you do, then Gudasol is interested in checking it out. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Sounds great. And yeah, if you want to share that in the Telegram group too, you're welcome to, so everybody can see it afterwards as well. Or if you want to share in the Zoom chat, either way works. And I suppose without further ado, I will share what's on the agenda today. We're also having a discussion at the end of our breakout room about Jorge asked Douglas how he compared it to the Genesis fractal, but perhaps we can propose that for another topic because we have 2 topics on the agenda already. And yeah, if anybody else has any other quick thoughts you want to share with the breakout room or quick question like that, I suppose you can jump in. But being that we're already 12 minutes past the top of the hour, should probably jump into the topics on the agenda. So I will share my screen and just share what's up right now. Is my screen share working now? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Sorry for my issue with that before, but it seems like it automatically resolved via Zoom. So we're going to jump into the agendas game. And of course, if anybody wants to propose any topic in future, then you can go on to the Eden Consortium and make a proposal for a topic or make a proposal for the community and for the delegates and so forth. And there's 2 topics on the agenda today, and I'm a bit confused about which one has more votes, but I think maybe we'll focus on Vlads first because it has 2 votes. And so for one thing, everybody can submit topics here, but then you can also vote on topics too. I think many people know this, but encourage more people to do it because lately we've just been submitting topics and voting on topics fairly late, right before the meeting. So Vlad and I both made these topics just about a half hour before we started. And the 2 topics on the agenda, flipping back and forth between them, Vlad made a proposal, should Vlad and Red be custodians of Planet Eyeke and Alien Worlds? And Vlad wrote how Alien Worlds is a metaverse built by a community of explorers, and both Vlad and Red are supporters of the Fractal process and will support the development of it in Alien Worlds. And then I made a topic proposal for post-anniversary promotions and automation workflows for the second year of Eden Fractal. And then I also attached a kind of a agenda over here with a bunch of topics that I'd like to discuss with everybody. Some of this is a bit messy. I'm actually on the wrong page right now, so let me reopen that again and then reload it. That was a different page about anniversary, but this is about some updates about the winners and prizes from last week and about video production and plans to promote as well. I suppose first we can maybe get into Vlad's proposal, and I can just share a bit of context too at edencreators.com/alienworldsfractal, where I've been sharing some updates about this each week as we go along. Vlad recently got a proposal approved to start the Alien Worlds Fractal, and we've been collaborating with Alien Worlds in 2 different ways. So the 2 ways, I mean, first off, Dwayne has been he started hosting Alien Worlds Fractal meetings back last year. He hosted a 13-week pilot, and on this page you can watch all the videos as well as many great interviews with Dwayne. Big shout out and thanks to Dwayne for leading the Alien Worlds Fractal and starting it, and shout out to Vlad for starting up the consensus games at Alien Worlds and making this new proposal. And also I've been working with Vlad as well as Rosmari and Tadas, many of the people. So there's 2 different ways that we've been collaborating with Alien Worlds. For anyone who's not familiar, one is Vlad put together a proposal to empower the Alien Worlds community with the consensus games that we're playing here, deploying the Eden Fractal software there. And then the second way is making recommendations. So we've been speaking with Michael Yeats, the creator and lead developer of Alien Worlds, and he asked us to recommend candidates for different planets in Alien Worlds. And so that's what we did in the 47th and 48th meeting. We came to consensus to recommend Dwayne and Lisa in Alien Worlds as candidates. And you can watch the video here as well as read some descriptions and articles to show how we did this and all about it basically. And now just over the past week or so, or I guess 2 weeks ago, we just did the first submission of that consensus, like formally on the blockchain. So we came to consensus and we voted here with the Eden plus Fractal process and also on Consortium. And then Michael Yeats and Gnome, the developer of IBC, and Vlad all worked together and deployed the software on EOS. I think I provided a brief update about it last week too. I can go into more details about that, but basically Vlad in this proposal that Vlad made is proposing that should Vlad and Red be custodians of Planet Eyeke and Alien Worlds. And the last time we did that for Lisa and Dwayne, but I believe, I haven't double checked it this week, but I believe that Dwayne and Lisa are already candidates on Alien Worlds. So I suppose I'll pass it to Vlad if Vlad wants to provide more details. And then after that, if we could have a discussion fairly quickly, I would also love this meeting if we can get to the post-anniversary promotions. I want to give a bit of an update on the winners and prizes and next steps and stuff like that. But being that Vlad had 2 votes here, and that seems like it has more votes, with that introduction out of the way, I will see if Vlad wants to introduce your proposal and share more. And also, Vlad, I have a question for you. You wrote, should Vlad and Red be custodians of Planet Eyeke and Alien Worlds? Okay, never mind. You answered my question. I wanted to confirm it was Planet Eyeke. But anyway, Vlad, do you want to take it from here?
Yep, so you're correct. Dwayne and Lisa are already custodians. And if me and Red are voted in. So in that case, the custodians of Eyeke are who support the fractally process. So that would be nice. Yeah, not much to add.
Cool.
Can I add? I don't think you should consider who is already, because at any week anyone can lose their power. So if you're, I'm saying this for future, not for me specifically, but like if you're choosing to vote for a period of time for someone, I would do what that, or for the two people, I would do what that is, regardless of who you think already is there, because at any time someone could get kicked out. But I am excited to see you guys running and support that.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lisa, and good point. And I'll also pull up the screen share as well with the current rankings too, so everybody can see how it works. I can provide a bit more detail so delegates and everybody here can better understand how it works with some more information. And here I also see that Jorge, oh no, not Jorge, Eric raised his hand. So I'll pass it to Eric here. Also, welcome David too. I see David just joined. Welcome. Thank you for joining the Eden Fractal meeting, David. I see he said just throw all your votes at the red wizard. I don't know what that means, but I see your heart. So thanks for joining. If you'd like to briefly introduce yourself, you can. I believe that David is an artist who works with the Alien Worlds community. So you joined at a good time. We're just discussing a proposal that Vlad made to recommend Vlad and Red as custodians in Planet Eyeke. So I'll pass it on to Eric now, but if David, you want to raise your hand and introduce yourself afterwards, then that'd be appreciated. It'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of the proposal, but for me, it fits into a greater context. I view what we do here is R&D. Proposing, testing, come up with ways to make fractal governance work for organizations, including those built on a blockchain. So for me, the question is, how do we best create a sandbox to implement what we do here in a virtual place? So that I view this as just one of the answers to that question. How do we best create a sandbox to apply what we do here? And one of the ways is getting enough people on Eyeke to where we can start putting in some governance type efforts and tools.
Yes, I agree, Eric. I very much agree. If you want to add anything more to that, that'd be cool. I see that Noam has their hands up, and I see David said, sure, no problem, mate. So David, if you'd like to speak up before Noam goes, then feel free. Or if not, then we can pass on to Noam. And whenever you feel like it, David, then you're welcome to raise your hand or jump in and introduce yourself. That would be welcome. But I suppose now I see David unmuted. Hey, David.
Hey guys, how you all doing? It's great to be here. I haven't been to a fractal meeting for a while now. Real life just gets away with me sometimes when I get too busy. I work as well as you know. I'm David Harris. My alter ego is the Red Wizard. I'm currently running for a custodian seat on Magor. Hence the reason I said chuck all your votes to the Red Wizard. I work as technical support for Alien Worlds and community management. I started in Alien Worlds a couple of years ago, started getting heavily involved with the community side of it. Ended up running a community-made group called Alien Army Worlds, which at the time was one of the biggest community-made groups going. Hosted some of the biggest, craziest, and most interactive mining events going. We had treasure hunts, we had like cross-channel promotions where we'd send them off into different channels, different groups to find different communities, get rewarded for their activity doing that. Currently now, I'm just sticking to trying to network a little bit more, trying to introduce myself to some new people, find some new friends, as they say, in the custodian world. So I figured this would probably be one of the best starts. Just come and speak to you guys, introduce myself and see what's going over here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, David. And yeah, it's an excellent start. It's great to hear from you. I seen you posted in the chats, but I didn't know all the cool stuff you're working on. So it's awesome that you're working so close with Alien World and running a Magor and all this stuff and running events. So yeah, I really appreciate you joining. I see lots of thumbs up too. Oh, was something you want to say there?
Yeah, I'm actually planning a treasure hunt event as well, which was founded through Miners Union. It was funded by 2 planets, but it was from the community funded proposal side of Miners Union. So I've got some TLM up for grabs and just getting the last images sorted. So you will see an in real world treasure hunt where you are going to have to go out and find these items to be able to enter and participate. So it's going to get people out and exploring instead of just being stuck indoors, you know, cropping pictures. And, you know, you've actually got to take a picture with your Telegram name and the date, you know, and you can put the time if you want to be specific so you can match it up to their posting times, but to ensure that no one's cheating. So these people are actually going to have to get off their butts and go out into the real world. And, you know, hopefully if this one pans out good, I will, you know, do a much larger scale version and try and involve more people that way.
Sounds great. Thank you for letting us know, David. If you'd like to share that in the Eden Fractal Telegram chat too, that'd be appreciated. I just, by the way, put a message up. We've been using a lot in the, there are lots of great messages in the Zoom chat over here, but I encourage everybody too, if you want to post in the Telegram chat, the live chat, that everybody can see it after the call as well. You can also use the Zoom chat, of course, but I encourage you, David, if you want to share that so people can look into find the links and then learn more. Also see Jorge said, leaving now, guys. Thanks for all the great support, value, encouraged. Thank you very much, Jorge. I saw Pascal had to go a little while ago too, so Pascal is much appreciated. And yeah, thanks so much, David, for introducing yourself. I'm looking forward to working with you more and learning more about you. And if you could share a link to the events or anything else with your work that you're working on, you want us to learn about, then I'd appreciate it very much. And I think people would appreciate learning about it in the group. All right, so I see Noam has their hands up. I can also share a couple more resources too about the Eyeke and who's elected and so forth. But first, I know Noam has been patiently waiting with his hands up for a while, so now I'll pass it on to Noam, and then after that, I'll share some more resources about alien worlds and custodians for everybody. Noam, are you ready? Can you hear us, Noam? Noam. I guess Noam is distracted. So in that case, and I see Dwayne said, thanks everyone. He had to head to the next meeting. Have a great day. Have a great day, Dwayne. Thank you very much. And always good to see you, Dwayne. And big thanks,
also, I was
Dwayne.
muted. It was outside my...
Yeah, we can hear you now, Noam, but we did not hear you before. Something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just posted on Telegram 3 questions about the Alien Worlds process, about Vlad's consortium proposal. And there are 3 things. First, about what Eric said, I think that the process that we're going through is exactly the R&D process, because the transaction that Dan and Michael Yates did was the first transaction that used Noam's block IBC. So we're actually creating history by doing this, and that supports the whole idea that we are doing R&D here. There aren't other communities that stepped up and endorsed candidates for Alien Worlds before we did, and it's good to be the first. The other thing I wanted to say was that we just heard from David Harris that he's running on Magor, so it raises 2 questions. First of all, can we endorse somebody on Magor in addition to 2 candidates on Eyeke? And the other question is, if we do that, will that mean that our voting power gets split between the 2 planets, or will Michael Yates or whoever it is that's using our endorsement actually use our vote in both places, in which case we have nothing to lose from endorsing people on 2 planets. And the third question I asked was, let's say right now we have Lisa, we have Dwayne, we have Vlad, we have Red, and I've been thinking about submitting candidacy also, except I don't want to compete with all of them. I think that putting on a consensus, a yes-no vote on just 2 candidates is not a very efficient way to use our discussions. we should come up with some other way to reach a consensus on who the delegates are that we want to endorse. So that would be the third question that I wanted to bring up. And just a point of information, whenever somebody votes on Alien Worlds, they vote for 2 custodians on a specific planet. So, and they have to commit some of their TLM to that planet several days in advance, and then they have, it takes time to take it from one planet and move it to another. So if somebody's already committed the TLM to a planet and we don't endorse, they'll probably vote some other way, or sometimes if this is going on a smart contract and we don't endorse, that voting power is going to just get lost. It won't be used if we don't submit if we don't do our part through the smart contract. And that means that if we want to endorse people, if we don't want to have a discussion every week on who our delegates are, we might want to set up the smart contract to vote from now until we change the vote. That way, our voting power, whoever is giving us the voting power with our endorsement, that vote isn't going to be wasted. And we don't want it to be wasted because that would make us less effective and make people less likely to want to use our endorsements if they think that their voting power will get wasted. So that's what I had to add, and I'd love to hear what others have to say. So I'll lower my hand now.
Thanks a lot, Noam. Great points, and really appreciate you thinking about this thoughtfully. I can share a bit more context, both about your questions and thoughts, and then also just general thoughts that if I would have done it again, then I would have prepared for the beginning of the presentation, but I didn't have it quite ready. But now I have some more ready that I can share for more information for delegates and everybody here to learn more. I see Perry has their hands up. Perry, I was planning to speak after Noam because I think this context is helpful. If you want to go ahead and respond to Noam or share something first, then you can. But Perry, do you have any thoughts? Because I think it might be most helpful if I share this more information because it could answer some questions first.
Mine is very quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Since we're discussing elections and governance of other chains and we haven't defined a mission, I was just wondering what who's everybody going to support for US president?
Are you kidding? Totally a separate meeting. No interest to anyone on this call.
Okay, I'm glad you got the joke. Thank
you. So Perry, if you'd like to discuss that, you know where to go, consortium, agendas, and we'll see what people think about it. Although I might add that we have a bit less control over that, or a bit less power, and it's a bit further away. So I think it makes more sense to look at Alien Worlds right now. What's that, Lisa?
Give us 10 years. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, cool. So yeah, all right, Patrick, you have a very loud laugh there. That I think Patrick keeps getting cut off guard. But anyway, I'll share my screen now and share a bit more information for anybody, for everybody actually, just for more context about this as well. So for one thing, I think everybody's seen it, but Alien Worlds.io is the game that we're talking about. It is, by many measures, the biggest, most popular Web3 game in the world, built on the Wax blockchain in the Antelope community. And there's a whole system with NFTs and explorers and games and stuff, and lots of really cool stuff. You can check out alienworlds.io in case anybody hasn't seen it. That's what we're talking about here. And that site I shared before is edencurious.com/alienworldsfractal, where you can see what we've done in many ways, or an overview of an article I've written about Alien Worlds Fractal. And then these questions that Noam shared over here, just for some visual remembering. And everybody can see that in the Telegram live chat if you want to respond in text, or of course everyone can raise their hands and answer here about can we endorse people for more plans. These are very good questions. As far as the contract goes, there's one software where you can hit like 2 candidates and 1 planet. So I guess you could do that action twice and you could do 1 candidate on each planet, but that's something we probably have to confirm with Michael, I'd imagine. And I don't think it would dilute our vote power, but well, first off, we don't really have vote power, so to speak. We have recommendations, and then it's up to Michael or whoever else to give it power. So really, it's up to, these are questions for whoever is having the power, which is Michael or other people. But great questions, and I'm not totally sure what the answers are. And when there are more than two candidates, also a great question. I know Noam, we had spoke, and I really appreciate your help this weekend. We met about the Signals app. And the Signals game. I think the Signals can be really helpful for this as well and could be more efficient in many ways. And I agree with what you and Eric were saying, how we could be more efficient. This is like testing and figure out the best way to do this. And so very open to different ways of figuring out consensus and being more efficient about it. Because obviously if there's many more people joining, we also have other things to talk about too, and we only have so much time. So that was one of my main motivations with Signals, to be able to be more efficient in expressing consensus. I think it'd be very helpful, and hopefully by next week we'll be able to have that more done, because Noam and Rosmari and I, and special thanks to Noam because he figured a lot of the automation stuff out. So in future weeks we can do that more efficiently, I think, and have more efficient voting. Noam also made this comment too about a week ago. I meant to reply, but I realized I didn't. So I'll respond and follow up there soon, but really appreciate you, Noam, sharing more detailed thoughts about this, and we'll respond soon. We'll be happy to hear everybody else's thoughts about it as well. And then for a bit more context too, there's play.alienworlds.io. Well, actually, first I'll share, after the 48th meeting, Jorge Sapiens had asked, what does being a custodian on Planet Eyeke mean? And so I replied with some resources here. I also shared this in the Telegram live chat and also in the Zoom chat too, if you scroll up a little bit. But I just shared some popular resources, or very helpful resources, where you can learn more about what custodians do and how they work and how it all works and stuff like that. So you can click these links here to learn more. There's also a couple other Telegram links I shared too, where Dwayne and Lisa had some videos where just when the syndicate program, which is how the custodians work, they're part of the syndicates, was released, they talked about it. So that's in the Eden Fractal Telegram chat, and it's not showing properly right now, but on the screen. But if you go in the Telegram Zoom chat, then you can see the thumbnail and you can see them speak about it. And Dwayne and Lisa have great conversations. So that's really helpful. And then also linked here is like a wiki with a lot of details. And then there's also a nice site called alienworlds.io/syndicates, where you can learn more about what syndicates are and how it works and so forth. So I'll perhaps just forward those again so you can see them right at the bottom of the list in the live chat. But that's where you can learn more context about generally about syndicates. And then to speak to what Lisa was saying before about how everybody can be voted out in any week, basically. That's something to consider.
Dan, I'd like to ask that now that you're here, can you scroll down a little bit and see where Vlad and Dan are on this list?
Yeah, well, I think you mean Vlad and Red.
7?
Yeah. So Vlad is number 7, and Vlad has something like, I guess this is 4.5 million votes, and Red has something like 2.7 million votes. And then the way it works is that the top 5 people are elected as custodians. So right now the custodians in Planet Eyeke are Gnome, Lisa, Dwayne, Furry, and Snip. I don't know Furry and Snip, although I've seen Snip posting around a bit. And
I think it's Fury.
Oh, Fury, did I mispronounce it?
I think you said furry.
Oh, okay. Well, Fury, not furry. Good. Thank you, Lisa. So it makes more sense, I suppose. And yeah, you can see the amount of votes here. I think also another thing too is that Michael, I think he's interested in voting with more, but I think to start out with, he started with 700,000. So I'm not sure if it would make a big difference either way as far as who's in the top 5. Somebody could confirm that. There's a account that Vlad started where you can see it, but actually I'm not totally sure what the account is off the top of my head right now. Oh, I see Vlad raise his hand. Do you want to add some context here, Vlad?
Yeah, I think it's 5 million.
Oh, is it 5 million?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you confirmed that? Because he mentioned to me that he was interested in 5 million at some point, but when I checked, it was only 700,000. And I hear Lisa too.
Trillium or vote power?
I don't know.
I thought vote power, but I haven't checked. But just I noticed the big difference when they first voted for you and Dwayne, then approximately it increased by 5 million. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't following it, and I had several people telling me they were starting to vote for me, so I wasn't sure which did it.
Well, okay, sounds good. I can go into the Telegram chat. I don't know if Vlad, you just shared the link there, but I know Michael had shared in the I don't know if that was a Planet Eyeke chat, I guess. He shared the transaction on Wax where it showed that his account had voted for Dwayne and Lisa, and I think that's where you can see how much Trillium has been staked there, but I'm not totally sure. I'm kind of looking at this. I haven't
It
checked
sounds
this
about
recently.
right. If the, I mean, approximately, if that's the Trillium versus and the 5 million vote power, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I'm also not sure if there's a difference between the vote power or the Trillium. This is
If you
Michael's.
stake it a long time, it's worth more. So if you stake it for 90 days, it's worth like 5 times as much or more than that, possibly. I don't know exactly the math on it. I don't know if anyone knows exactly the math. Maybe it's in a Medium article somewhere, actually, on Alien Worlds Medium, where it talks about how it's calculated, if anyone wants to know. But like you can stake it for 2 days or you can stake it for 90 days. And you get more vote power if you stake it for 90 days. There's no return on the stake. It's just for the voting. It's like a different play path.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you,
One
Lisa.
thing we need to take into account is there is strategy here in voting. If we put our vote and it's not enough to get our candidate into the top 5, it's not strategically smart. If it takes only a little bit to get somebody from 6 to 5, that would be a good thing. And if we already have 4 good candidates on a planet, getting a 5th, 3 candidates get a majority on the planet. So we might want to spend more time looking at other planets and getting as many of our custodians elected as we can. So all of those are strategic decisions that I'm aware that they exist, but I haven't actually gotten into the strategy, and Lisa probably knows a lot more about it than I do.
Okay, thank you, Noam, for the input. I'll also add David in the Zoom chat wrote that 700K staked for 90 days is a huge difference in terms of vote power, and 5K staked for 90 days equals 25K vote power. So there seems to be a big multiplier there. And just for some context, this is Michael's message in Planet Eyeke, which is the first recommendation that went through from the EOSIABC account, and this was recommending Vlad and or rather Dwayne and Lisa, and you can see, I believe this is the account that he created on too, where you can see like the amount of wax and Trillium if you go to tokens maybe, and that's where I saw the 700,000. So I guess maybe he did that, but he made him 5 times the multiplier by locking for 5 days. I'm not really sure. I see Vlad also shared a comment in response to Noam there with more details about Noam's questions. I suppose I'll stop screen sharing now too, so we can see everybody. Does anybody have any thoughts you want to share? I see Vlad is still unmuted. I'd also still like to get to the other topic if we have a chance to at some point.
I just wanted to mention that Planet Eyeke is in full support of Fractal and Fractal rollouts, and what Vlad and Tadas are doing, and actively pursues proposals from all of you, as I think you know. So I'm fine either way. We are doing some other things too. There's a lot of things that needed officially connecting from the Alien Worlds community to a planet. And there is a new event platform, which is super engaging with a lot of play actions, which fellow custodian Snip is organizing. And I will say Snip and Fury have been very collaborative with what we've been doing lately, and they've been supportive. So I'm happy to see that we've been able to create some fun events and engaging opportunities that are going to become more sustainable and not need ongoing Trillium, so that we can continue to use it to launch, new development and support communities adding those products and solutions, supporting governance and supporting events and gameplay to their communities. So I'm really happy with the progress so far, although we do have a few issues in the past that we have to clean up, as do some of the planets also in similar situations. But for the most part, I think it's going really well, and I encourage any of you too that want to submit proposals for the various experiments or to do a plan to work out what might be needed, and then later a technical scoping and milestones, to please submit that, because I think it's a good time to get started. And then hopefully in the future, as more Trillium is released, we'll be able to support more and more of those milestones getting completed, and hopefully, collaborate with the other planets, as David Harris is suggesting. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Lisa. All right. Well, I also pulled up the delegate spreadsheets too, and we have enough delegates to pass a vote if we want with the Eden Fractal process, and I can share my screen to just show who's delegate and how that would work. I see Perry had his hands up too, so I'll pass it on to Perry if you'd like to go now, and then after Perry goes, then I'll share a bit more context about where we're at with delegates, and people can share their vote if they want. I also have one question for Vlad as well, but first I'll pass on to Perry.
Thanks, Dan. My question's for Lisa. I think I heard you say that you have a means of generating your own income, and that you won't need the tokens of the mother protocol, in this case Trillium. Can you share? I'm not aware of how you're doing that. Can you?
I have no idea what you're talking about. What?
Well, that's what I just heard.
Sorry, say it again.
I thought that's what I just heard. I thought you just said that you have a way of generating your own value, so you don't need to ask for more Trillium.
Oh God, no, I didn't say that.
You did use the word sustainable, but that doesn't go to where you're.
Oh no, sustainable was for the events. I'm talking about being a custodian on Planet Eyeke.
Okay.
And we have funded 3 types of things in the recent past since I've been a custodian in various capacities, either the one recommending or just being a custodian. And those have included 3 primary categories. One is development, which is our priority. And we're doing that in various stages: planning, scoping, and milestones. And also connecting other games that are adding Alien Worlds components to them. The second is governance. The third is events and media. And in the past, the planet had funded purchasing lands for individuals that were supposed to go in multi-sig, and it's been a bit of a mess. And also providing the rewards for those events on the individual lands. And that isn't sustainable, because then they come back every week competing with the development funds for those rewards. But at the same time, of course, we want to support gameplay and activity while we're building future things. And many people are building games, obviously. And so Snip primarily is taking the lead on it. He's one of the Eyeke custodians, and he's been working with the Hive on Discord, which is a French community, and some of the other Discord communities, to get feedback on a more engaging game that doesn't rely on any randomness, and everyone who does something, or the first number of people who do things, will get rewarded. And there's movement around the different lands and planets and such, and it just seems a bit more fair, and there's more people governing it, and less likely that we'll have issues like they recently did on Magor with the confusion about distribution of the rewards and such. And so custodians have been talking a lot about how to defend when crisis occurs, and how to proactively and positively remedy those situations and create best practices for the future. It takes a lot of time, like hours every day. It's been a big deal the past few weeks. So what I'm saying about sustainability is that we're as Planet Eyeke hoping, as these games launch, if they are having a sponsorship component, to provide some of the early sponsorship or the beta testing rewards, or match other sponsors. So for example, if they were to get Lisa's coffee shop to sponsor a week, the Planet might match that for a period of time to get them going. And then they would have those rewards to give to their community managers or their players or developers or however they want, but they could become a sustainable game and community that way and not need to come back to the Planet every week. So that's what I mean. It is certainly not me who is sustainable by any means at the moment. So
okay,
I only wish it were true, and I will be happy to declare as such when that is true.
No,
Sounds
that
good.
answers it. It sounds like you're employing an advertising model to generate some money, and that's what I was curious, because money is always an issue when driving these things, and it's good to know what's happening in different places. So thank you.
Great.
Yeah, our trillium is coming from the planets, and so we're getting it to individuals and communities. But it would be nice if they, launch and become sustainable on their own, so that it's more of like a launch mechanism instead of an ongoing need. So thank you for the time, Dan. Back to you.
You're welcome, Lisa. Thank you for all the great thoughts and information. And thanks, Perry, as well, for the questions and for the thoughts. I'll share my screen a bit to show the context where we're at with this proposal, and then also give a reminder, if we want to pass this proposal with the Eden plus Fractal process, we have 14 minutes left to do so. And I also do want to get to the other topic, because I think we have a huge opportunity to make the most of our anniversary celebrations from last week, and I'm curious to hear what people think. So I suppose we can pretty much round off discussion unless anybody has any really pressing questions about it, but I'll share my screen just to show some context about where we're at right now, and where we can go from here. So Vlad's proposal here, I see it has 3 votes right now, with 2000 Eden saying yes, and then what we're using to express consensus here. And this could also change too. Like, as Noam mentioned, we could use a different consensus mechanism, but currently the consensus mechanism that we're using is the Eden plus Fractal process. And the details about this are at edencreators.com/Eden plus Fractal. This is the main consensus process that we've been using for community decisions for since week 19. So for about 40 weeks or 35 weeks or so, for almost half a year. This was created by Tadas back in the day. And the way it works is there are 4 councils, and people are elected delegates in each week. So you can see here, there's a little visual representation too, but 3 out of 4 councils need to approve in order to submit consensus, or rather to express consensus with the Eden plus Fractal process that we are using right now. And you can see the delegates who are elected each week. I believe that this is currently updated. Please let me know, Tadas, if it hasn't been updated, but I believe it is, because we just elected Douglas here. And so Douglas, Noam, and Eric are in Council 36. And Tadas, if you could please also add the question. I don't have access to permission for this page, but if Tadas is still here, if Tadas could please add the proposal here so we can keep count of it, that would be good to be able to see it. But yeah, basically there needs to be 2/3 plus 1 consensus here in order to express the consensus. Thank you, Tadas, for adding that. And so everybody can vote yes or no if they want. And then I saw Rosmari had said in the chat that she agrees with it as well. I'll also ask too, what we did last week or last time in week 48 to make consensus very clear was we also voted on consortium too. And when I messaged Michael to let him know the consensus results, I shared him both the link to the video and then also the consortium poll for the last time that we did it, so that he could see independently of the video or independently of trusting anybody. He saw, okay, 10 people voted, and you could see who the delegates were and so forth. So if delegates could also vote, or anybody can really vote on consortium as well, but especially delegates could vote on consortium yes or no to express your support. If anybody has any questions for Vlad specifically that would relate to whether you want to vote yes or no, then I'll give priority to that, especially if there are any delegates. I have one question in particular for Vlad, and then also if we can also be pretty quick with this, I'd really love to get to this next topic at some point too. But anyway, yes, I encourage people to vote on consortium, and also if you could also vote in audio, like say yes or no during this video, that would be appreciated too. And these are the delegates who are currently on there. I suppose Dwayne had to go, but we can also just ask Dwayne because he was here. So that's something that we could do. That's not really normal in the Eden Plus Fractal rules, but we do have enough council members here to be able to pass this proposal if people agree. So I'll stop sharing the screen and I will share this link in the Telegram chat. And my question, Vlad, is how much? Well, I mean, I know like we're super aligned. We want to support Alien Worlds Fractal, and I greatly appreciate you making the proposal for Alien Worlds Fractal, or perhaps Fractal Alien Worlds. We just made a Telegram group and we're figuring out the timing for the first event, by the way. It might be as early as this Friday or maybe next Monday or next Friday. We're going to put out a poll pretty soon. And Vlad's doing excellent work leading that in many ways, porting over the software and making an article and stuff like that. But Vlad, I also heard, I spoke with Lisa for a while, a couple of days last week, and she said that you'd funded some other proposal that was, I don't know the details. I think it was for the miners or something like that. And I've been thinking like we have this opportunity with Alien Worlds planets where we can recommend people, and there's funding available, more funding than we have available currently in other places. I think, I don't know what the current amount is, but it's something like a couple $1,000s a week or something like that. And we really haven't deployed that yet, except for the one proposal that we made, which was only asking for a few $1,000s with a trillium total. So Vlad, I'm curious if you plan to be fully committed to supporting Fractal cooperation and consensus games with Alien Worlds, because if you're fully committed, then you definitely have my vote. But if you're going to support other stuff, then I don't really know what that is. And I appreciate Fury and Snip too. I don't really know much about them, and I appreciate that they were interested in supporting it, but it seems like with the amount of votes that Michael is willing to do, then it could bring you up to the top 5 spot. So I want to support you, but I'm just curious about that fight because I don't know all the details. And my main goal is to help spread consensus games and fractals, because while I am interested in the mining and all the other stuff, I see tremendous value in that. So I want to just express my vote for people who support that, and I think you will, but I'm curious about it.
Yeah, so of course, my priority is funding the fractal related proposals, but like the reason why I funded those events is because what I did I went on the Discord servers, I checked what is the community sentiment. And it was really interesting that you could see how in Discord, they were like posting memes that, okay, if those events do not get funded, then we start like a revolution. We will be very unhappy, blah, blah, blah. So I saw that this is something that a lot of current players, I would say, enjoy or participate in. So I felt like, okay, we need to continue funding them. And also it was a strategic. I mean, those people who participate in those events, they are the ones for who we are creating this fractal. So you don't want to piss off a bunch of people for who you are actually building something. So that was my reasoning. But of course, if...
I have a question.
Yeah.
In terms of that vote being strategic, I noticed that both you and Xander voted for it. Lost some of your votes the next week.
Yeah.
Does that make you think that maybe it wasn't such a strategic vote after all?
Maybe like, yeah, in that sense that, like personally, maybe not so strategic, but in general, I think it's still like, I would do the same. Let's put it that way.
The reason I asked the question is because there is distinction between the number of people that are chatting on Telegram or on Discord and the people who actually have the voting power to vote custodians in. So when you think strategically, you need to decide which one you're actually going for. Are we going for the number of people, or are we going for the people with the voting power? And that's the strategic thing that you need to think about. I'm speaking out of line, so
no, I mean, it depends what the objective is.
Exactly.
Like, do we want to attract few whales, or do we want to actually attract the community?
Ah, the great question. That
Can I
so in this case, if you want to attract the community, just talk to Lisa.
Having recruited more people than any player or human being in Alien Worlds over the past 2 years, I assure you that group does not represent the majority of players. However, many people that you're referencing, I think, will be very happy by the event solutions that have been worked out. But the difference is, if there are community assets, they'll be held in a multi-sig, not given to an individual who's going to beg for us to drive rewards to increase the value of that land, potentially, or even to that land. The intention of that land was that it would go into a multi-sig, and it did not. And so to give additional rewards to that situation was very challenging to the people who made that commitment, because we're still having to clean it up. We're literally having to fund a diplomacy mission of people and data to go negotiate how to solve that problem. And unfortunately, since I wasn't consulted at the last minute and it was done, I wasn't able to make my case. And unfortunately, because I was a custodian that week and I'm in the United States, and it could be perceived that some of the events that that community is doing are gambling, I potentially am at risk, especially if I don't do something. So I have had to reach out to a lawyer and request that I could now spend some of the funds to support figuring out what we should do in the circumstance, so that I don't have to pay fines or go to jail and others don't as well. So it's put us in a bit of a pickle as far as I'm concerned. And I would have appreciated having a chance to have that discussion. But I do have many communities, at least 12, if not more, who are ready, waiting, and eager, and at least 60 community managers who are in a group who were eager to also get started. So they each represent maybe hundreds, if not thousands, of players in each community. So there are definitely people and players around. And unfortunately, the ones who want us to do things in particular ways tend to be a bit noisier in social media. And we've seen this every day in Alien Worlds. It's one of the natures of having a game in social media. So hopefully all of the actors involved have been good and have good intentions, and they just haven't gotten around to setting up the multi-sig. Or if there was a difference of opinion, that there will be dispute resolution. And I want to make it clear, I don't want anything to do with the lands, that multi-sig, any of those rewards, anything to do with it. It's been posted in social media that I do, and that's insane. And I consider that an attack. And unfortunately, it's quite a shock. But this is what happens. And so this is a super important topic to me. And I definitely want to support players. And we have just supported this new event platform for exactly those players in mind. They've been involved in that discussion. And so hopefully I've demonstrated my intention. And I've said as often as I can, it is my intention to support Vlad and others in Fractal. And so hopefully we will learn to talk more, believe it or not, we in spite of all being together so much, and resolve any of these issues as best we can ahead of time. I think we will definitely be meeting the needs of both the whales and the players, the non-whale players, by doing so, and that's my intention. And I appreciate all of you, and I don't believe anyone here has had any malintent whatsoever.
Thanks, Lisa. I don't know if you want to respond to that, Vlad. There's only about a minute or so left till the top of the hour by which the voting would conclude, and we don't have any formally submitted votes. Oh, we have a no from Noam and a yes from Tadas, actually. And so I guess that might make it so we aren't able to reach consensus. I don't know if Lisa, you want to vote yes or no. I'm not totally sure what your opinion is there. And Gudasol, you can vote now, yes. And you have a yes from Rosmari in the chats.
Yeah, since I was talking, I didn't click on it yet. I just opened it and was trying to get to it. But yeah, is it the same proposal from the one done before, or is it a different one?
It's essentially the same thing, I think. I think Vlad wrote it a little bit, but it should Vlad and Red be custodians on Planet Eyeke and Alien Worlds. And then he just wrote Ed versus Metaverse built by community explorers, both matters and are supported as the Fractal process will support development there. So
yeah,
Vlad,
I
would you
will
consider
go
running in a planet where you wouldn't be competing with Lisa and Blaine?
how about before we get to more detailed questions, Noam, because we're at time right now, we just ask for a simple yes or no from each delegate. And if each delegate could just say yes or no. I see Eric just wrote it, but if you could just please say yes as well. Or
Yes, I support Vlad and Red as custodians.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Tadas?
Yes, I think we can vote in Telegram. I created a poll, and I will take the votes from there.
Okay, cool. Lisa?
Yeah,
Did you
I'm
say
trying
yes?
to write it the right way. I think I've said it on video at least 6 times now.
Okay, sorry, I was confused. You just said a lot there, so I was okay.
I was just giving you some history and encouraging us all to work together.
Thank you, much appreciated.
I mean, even if we disagree, I'm not saying we all have to agree. Let's just work together.
Okay, cool. And Rosmari and Gudasol?
Say yes.
And
Yes.
okay, thanks. And then other delegates on the list. Also looking here, I'll share the screen briefly. I guess we're like a minute over, but I guess that's probably okay because we did start actually a couple minutes late, so that works out. And then we still have Patrick and Perry. I see Perry's had his hand up for a while. Thanks for being patient. If you could just give us a yes or no, Perry and Patrick, that would be appreciated because we don't have much time for discussion. Of course, we could discuss it more afterwards, but just as far as this, being that we dedicate an hour here, Perry, would you vote yes or no on this?
To be honest, I don't feel like I'm educated on the issue. I haven't had my head in alien worlds. So although I support the people that are in this group, in spirit, I just don't understand it, to be honest. So I have to recuse myself from that vote, if that's okay.
I respect that.
Okay.
I'm always happy to tell you anymore if you ever want anyone, but I do respect that.
Thanks, Lisa and Perry and Patrick. I see Patrick was sharing some messages in chat. Would you like to voice yes or no or your opinion about it?
I have already voted into the Telegram.
Okay, could you please let us know what you voted?
I voted no. And I support totally Vlad into his work and this guy that I don't know, David or Red. I have no idea about what you are talking about. So I voted no. I am not okay with that. That's my thought. And I support all the work that is doing Vlad in general. So that's all what I have to say.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Patrick. So I'll share the screen again. It looks like it has not passed this week. I'm not sure. My vote was yes, I think. But it looks like there's no from Council 34 and Council 33, Dwayne's not here. And so Council 34 is a no. So it looks like it didn't pass according to the Eden plus Fractal process for this week. And
message Dwayne. You might be able to message Dwayne to have him pop back in to vote because he's just in another meeting, I think. I could be wrong.
It is past the 1 hour that we usually do, and so maybe we could just repropose it for next week, and then we could have a short discussion. Another thing that might help too is just more education. So like that knowledge or the idea could be proposed sooner. I know Vlad shared it right beforehand, so people like Perry don't know much about it. I encourage you, Perry, to learn more about alien worlds, and I think it's a really great opportunity for us here. I suppose if anyone wants to try messaging Dwayne, I don't know if it would be appropriate to try. I mean, we did start a few minutes. Actually, we did start like probably 10 minutes late. So I guess maybe we could still see if Dwayne can do it. If anybody has any suggestions, I'd be curious how Vlad feels about this too, because I definitely want to support Vlad, but I'm also a little bit overwhelmed with all the new information as well. So I don't know totally what the best way to proceed is. And I know there also is a bit of a risk that, I mean, it seems very unlikely that Dwayne and Lisa would lose their spot. I want to make sure Dwayne and Lisa are also represented, but they have well over enough votes, whereas Vlad, it seems like that vote could bring him in the top 5. So yeah, I would vote yes on that, but I suppose we don't have Dwayne here. So
can I ask a point of order, Dan?
Was that Perry, point of order?
Well, I guess it's my way of saying, when you counted no in the column for Patrick and I, that was Patrick's one no vote. So my question is, within a council, is it majority? I mean, do you have to have like a certain minimum number of votes? I mean, in other words, could you eliminate the no vote from Council 34 because I didn't vote? And
yeah. So thanks for the question, Perry. And that's actually something that I kind of overlooked. And perhaps Tadas could share what the original intention was, because I'm not totally sure. Because also in Council 33, Lisa voted yes, but Dwayne didn't vote. So that's a similar situation. So Tadas, could you clarify what was the original intention there? If there's 2 people and one person doesn't vote, then does one person's yes count as a yes, or does one person's no count as a no?
Yeah, so we count approvals. So what we need at least 2/3 of council members to approve a proposal. So if a council member does not vote, it's no approval. It's the same as no.
Okay, so Council 34 is counting as one single vote.
Yes, and that's a no.
Okay, I got it.
And then Council 33, because Lisa voted yes, but Dwayne did not vote at all, that means that the vote is no, even though Lisa voted yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why it's red. Okay, well, thank you for...
These systems are trying to get me to not support Vlad, but I'm going to keep persisting through.
Good for you, Lisa. Excellent.
Well, we can. I think it is possible to pass it next week. I would just prefer to not spend the whole meeting discussing about it. Maybe just vote at the end.
I agree. Yeah, and perhaps Vlad. Yeah, discussing offline is a great idea. Vlad, I'm sorry if we didn't reach the consensus you were hoping for this week. And I think it's been an interesting discussion and informative nonetheless. But I encourage you to propose it again next week. And then also if you could share like some information, perhaps. I mean, I've already shared a lot of information, so perhaps I can just resurface that and then encourage people like Perry or anybody else who's not very familiar with alien worlds. I do think this is a very helpful topic for Eden Fractal community members to learn. It's one of our biggest opportunities for condensed games and fractal cooperation and a lot of great members. So obviously you don't have to know everything, but well, for one thing, there's those resources I curated at edencreators.com/alienworldsfractal, and then those Telegram messages with more details about how syndicates work and stuff that I encourage everybody to read. And then also you can join the EO ship and crown calls that we have, where we discuss alien worlds every Thursday at 15 and 16 UTC. Dwayne, Lisa, and myself all host different parts of it, and we have a lot of great discussions there. And then also the Alien Worlds Fractal is starting up, as I said, in the next week or so too, and we'll have more details. I just started up a new Telegram group at Fractalian Worlds that people can check out. So yeah, there's all that, and I encourage everybody to check it out. I encourage Vlad to also share information, and if you want to make the proposal early in the week too, so people have time to ask questions about it and we can figure out in text, then I would love to support your work, Vlad. Is there anything you want to add, Vlad, in summary of this so far? Or
I think there are 0 proposals that I've made in Eden Fractal that have passed.
Yeah, that might be true. I don't know. I mean, you made several good ones, like the first mission proposal and so forth, but I know you've also had some disappointment with proposals not being as efficient as it possibly could be. So hopefully we'll make it more efficiently. And I do think, by the way, that Cignals app that we demoed for the first time last week, I think Noam made great points. I think that could be a lot more efficient, and we could start doing this each week without having to have a discussion about it. But for now,
how can that be though? How can it be that one of arguably the most respected community members can't get any proposals passed? What is that saying? I don't know.
Wrong. That's wrong. For the OGs here, me here since the last year, from the first day, 3 proposals have been passed. Cagendas, Blalendas, and the third one, moderator, into a brainstorming session that we were doing, and just after, the week after, magically, 3 proposals have been accepted. And I am here for Eden Fractal first. That's what I have written into the chat. And that's why I have voted no. No, because I don't love Vlad, not because I don't know, I don't love the other one, Red. Just to be clear, why I have voted no, because for me, it's not clear. We are into Eden Fractal, there is Alien World, so focus on Eden Fractal here, that's my concern, and Alien World, focus on Alien World. And when we can collaborate together, yeah, why not? But now we are doing the entire Eden Fractal, speaking just about Alien World. I think that's not the correct place. That's my opinion. I have the balls to say, and I stop here. Thank you.
Do you know why we're doing it, Patrick?
Well, first off, Lisa and Patrick, we have been, there are people raising their hands, so I encourage everybody to raise their hands more often.
I can't see it. That drives me nuts. I'm so sorry. Okay, I see now. I can't watch you and see the hands raised at the same time somehow.
Oh, if you're on mobile, I guess, is a limitation. That's something we should fix
I'm so
at some
sorry.
point. Oh, no, it's no problem. You've been sharing a lot of great thoughts, and thank you for sharing. I just want to jump in just to make sure that we didn't have too much. I know Tadas probably had some responses there, so perhaps Lisa will pass on to Tadas and then pass to you. I think, well, I'll just say... Oh, your hand is still up from now. Oh, I thought that was a mistake. My apologies, Perry. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Perry first and then to Tadas, and then we'll bring it back to Lisa. Also, just on Patrick's point, I do really want to discuss, we're probably going to wrap it up in like 20 minutes or so. That's usually on the time we wrap it up. And I want to respect everybody's time, but I do also really want to get to at least just a brief recap of last week and next steps too. So let's try to be expedient so we can get there, because I do think that focusing more on the Eden Fractal stuff will be great. But with that, I'll pass on to Perry and then to Tadas, and then we bring it back to Lisa if you still want to share that, Lisa. Perry?
This discussion, and especially what Vlad mentioned, is drawing a question in my mind, and this is a genuine question, and it's also, you could think of it as a rhetorical question at the same time, but it's a genuine question. If anybody has any experience in biology, my question is, what is more harmful to an ecosystem if you eliminated the whales or the plankton?
Okay.
That's the question.
Eliminate me, I am the whale.
Don't eliminate anyone.
Okay, yeah, it's better not to eliminate. It's better to grow everybody. Good point, Lisa.
Well, yes.
But,
okay, but if you favored one or the other, let's say.
Okay.
Eliminate me, I am the whale.
Something to ponder upon. How about we pass on to Das now?
Oh, getting rid of the mosquitoes. That's my vote on that.
Yes, get rid of the mosquitoes. Everybody else, we want to help.
Yeah, so regarding Vlad not getting any proposals passed, I don't think it's important who gets the final proposals passed. Some of Vlad's proposals were basis for my proposals that were later that later got passed, or at least they helped me develop proposals that later got passed. So basically, the reason why I was able to pass proposals was just because for some reason, I was the finisher of this development work that led to a past proposal. So it's like in sport, you have people, like in basketball, you have players who make plays, and players who score, and players who make assists. So basically, people who make assists, who make plays for others to finish them, are as valuable as the other team members. That's my view.
Dennis Rodman.
Well,
all reason for multi-sigs. All the more reason.
And Tadas is a great player of basketball.
Yes, Tadas also has a hidden career as a professional basketball player. Most people don't know that, but anyway, and Vlad does as well. Yeah, I want to add to that too. For one, was something you wanted to add there, Rosmari? So you raise your hand.
I said me too. Me too.
Oh yeah, and Rosmari too. She played lots of basketball too. So maybe we have a big basketball game someday.
World Basketball League, the
Yes.
first global basketball league in the metaverse.
That's right. That's a good way to market it too. Come to Eden Fractal for basketball games. So yeah, I want to add. So for one thing, the first proposal too. So I made a proposal. I've made many proposals, and most of them have not been approved as well. So I'm with you, Vlad. There. The first proposal that we made for Alien World was in week 47, and that was not approved either. And then in week 48, it was approved, but it took us 2 weeks to get there. And with the Eden plus Fractal process, one of the things about it is it's kind of designed to be not super efficient. It's designed to only make changes slowly, like only make the most important changes, which I think has been fitting for our time so far over the past year or so, because we only make changes if there's a high degree of consensus, and due to the nature of so much complexity and a lot of people not knowing alien worlds, that adds to more difficulty to pass proposals. So I wouldn't take it personally, Vlad. I really appreciate your proposals, and you of course led the way with the first mission proposal and several other proposals, and so I really appreciate it, although I also do want to make it more efficient and want Vlad to get lots of goals, so to speak, in Tas's terms, and lots of scores and stuff, and I'm sure that he will. There have been like 8 proposals that have been passed, so not many people have gotten past proposals. We've passed 7 or 8 or so that you can see on the Eden Fractal spreadsheet and delegates that I can perhaps pull up right over here. Actually, I'm getting confused. I have it open up twice, but I'll show that in a moment. And yeah, that also I suppose can lead into another thing that I want to say about Cignals too, because that demo that we did last week with Cignals, it was a bit it's just a demo, and we had a lot of manual parts, but I think that can be a way, and this is what I've been focusing a lot of my attention on, and just being more efficient with consensus on, and so we can pass way more proposals, because Michael doesn't necessarily need us to vote with the Eden plus Fractal process, consensus process. I mean, maybe he does, but we can also have different consensus processes for different purposes as well. And if somebody like Michael is interested in us just voting with something like Cignals, and we can agree upon some formula with Cignals that would be fitting, that he would appreciate, or other people would appreciate with their votes, then we could be a lot more efficient.
There is a sound into the background, either on you or either on someone else.
Thank you. There was just somebody who turned on a lawnmower in my backyard or around somewhere.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll turn it off. Sorry.
We are not living all into the same place. Yeah, for sure. Come in Switzerland, we have good regulation here.
Okay, yeah, we do not have good regulations.
You are welcome. You are struggling into US. Come in Switzerland. You are.
I was woken up at 7:30 in the morning this morning with somebody like cutting down a tree or something. So we could certainly use fractal consensus games to make better regulations. We will don't get woken up.
Wow, it's very loud.
Is it too loud right now?
I want Vlad not to feel bad, and I want to just remind him that no one has had the strongest negative reaction to their proposals than me.
Okay, I will say loud and clear here. I love Vlad. I love you, Vlad. You don't know how I love you. We are doing EOSDIN together. I love you, but I am not a sheep. I voted no, and I say into the chat vocally. What else? Cappuccino, popcorn, vodka? You want? So no, I am not okay with that. But that's my opinion. And there are the opinion of the other here that are inclined to say, yeah, baby, Vlad. So next week
Patrick,
you will
I wrote
you
in
will
the
pass. You will pass. You will pass. That's okay.
Patrick, I wrote in the chat what it would take for me to change my vote. Can you tell us what it would take for you to change your vote?
Nothing. I stay what I say. I do what I say, as always. No. Oh yes,
No.
it's depend. But on
Well,
this one, no.
What would it take for you to vote for an Alien Worlds proposal?
Not for this one, sorry. Not
Yeah,
for this
but-
one. And
but
I
how-
say for now. So I leave the door open.
So
but
what
for
do
now,
you want to see next week so we can pass a proposal next week? That's my question.
Maybe a bomb. I don't know. Into Eden
what?
Fractal. A bomb. An explosion into Eden Fractal.
Why?
You know, something happening into this Eden Fractal. Really, you know, something for this Eden Fractal. What I want to see.
I
That's
know
what I
what
want to
we
see.
could bring that's not a bomb, but that would be exciting.
Okay, Lisa, you've tempted me.
But a bomb into the good way, not a nuclear bomb, a bomb of explosion of something great here.
Let me tell you something that we've
Yes.
already seen and you may not have noticed.
So hold on, Noam.
I love
Hold
you,
on.
Tadas. I will
Everybody's
vote
speaking
for
over
you
each other.
also.
So okay, thank you.
In Pomelo, bye, Tadas.
Yeah, thank you for Tadas. But everybody, let's just try to just slow down. Hopefully my noise isn't too loud. I'll try to figure that out. Hey, is it too loud right now at the lawnmower? I think
Yeah,
you
too loud.
It's not that bad, right? I think Patrick is overreacting. Okay.
No,
yeah.
I have my headset and I hear the sound of your background.
I don't
That's
hear
okay.
anything.
Okay, it's quite quiet now,
No problem.
Patrick. So
Okay, bye. I go also. Tadas.
Okay, goodbye, Patrick.
Bye.
So I would like to just move on. I suppose, Noam, if we could save these questions about how to get it approved for next week, then that would be best. So we can get onto that because we are at almost 3 hours right now, so we could start to wrap it up soon. Maybe I'll just share a quick 5-minute or 2-minute overview of next steps. Patrick, if you're able to stick around too for this presentation, I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts about this. And Lisa, I know there was something you wanted to add there. If you wanted to add it real quick, then that would be cool. But otherwise,
Can
okay.
we bring it real quick? I'll be 10 seconds. Can we bring a proposal for fractal growth through Alien Worlds? Because we were talking about it anyway. We just haven't shared it, and then that might encourage you about how we can support fractal. What do you think, Patrick? Crazy?
Yeah, well, for sure.
I think a lot of things. And I think it's not the time now that I say all what I think. Otherwise, we do just 1 hour to explain what I think. We have already made 3 hours. That's long. So now let's move on.
Okay, reach out if you want.
Sounds great.
No,
yeah, feel free to share these.
No, thank you. I have other things to do.
Okay.
I am very implied into Eden Onios, and I am with Lenny and Mo organizing. And I have the video of Lenny and Mo this Saturday, by the way, working with Michael O'Sullivan. So I am committed, but now for this proposal, sorry, I would incline to vote as Perry to don't say any yes or any no, just be, I don't know. But I was thinking, okay, I have to say something, and I was thinking, and I said no, because for now, I don't see really all this thing. And maybe I will change of mind in a couple of weeks. So don't take first degree. And that doesn't mean that I don't love Vlad and Red, that I don't know, by the way. But I want to say that, okay? We can move on?
Yes.
Okay,
let's move on.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to ask further questions about this, then please feel free to share it in the Telegram chat. And then we can discuss it in future weeks. And of course, Lisa, if you want to make any proposals, then you can also do so on Consortium as well. All right, so see some funny comments in the chat too. But anyway, we'll wrap it up soon, but I'll just briefly give a recap on what happened last week with the anniversary and then some really exciting plans that I think, Patrick, you'll appreciate because it's very much focused on Eden and Eden Fractal. And yeah, thanks everybody for the great discussions for Alien Worlds candidates, and looking forward to more about that later. But I want to share a little bit about what I'm thinking about and what I've mostly been working on this week with the anniversary promotions and also automation workflows and how we can up our game for the next year. So, well, for one thing, I joined the Everything EOS Fireside Chat this week, as well as Patrick and many other people too, and we discussed or provided an update about what we did at Eden Fractal's anniversary, and then there's also a great recap that Jesse's been making. He's been working with Patrick as well with Podsom, and he did a summary of the EOS Fireside Chat, and in there you can see a section about the part that I spoke about, Eden Fractal. So this kind of goes into what I'm getting at here a little bit about AI tools. Basically, Jesse, he's got this new company called Podsom, where he's using artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and Midjourney to automatically generate these things. And you can see all sorts of cool stuff that's been going on with the EOS community here. But you can also see, if you scroll down a bit, the summary of the discussion that I had about Eden Fractal and summarizing our fractal anniversary. And we had an amazing event last week. I want to thank everybody so much for the amazing event. I think it went out really well. Obviously, it was just a demo of the Cignals game, and we can improve a lot. But overall, I had an amazing time, and I think from what I heard, many people did too. I showed the comment before from Pascal. He mentioned how he thought Eden Fractal found its mission to share fun times, and for everything I heard and felt like, I feel like we had a really great time. And then beyond that too, we also made great content too. So for the first time yesterday, or the first time last week rather, I recorded using Zoom Cloud. And one of the things that Zoom Cloud does is it enables you to record in multiple different camera angles. So I have camera angles for each person speaking, and then also for the whole of everybody talking at one time, so you can switch between views. And I've been meaning to publish the video. I haven't published the video yet for this week because this new Zoom Cloud feature had some issues where it takes a little bit longer to edit, and there's some things I have to work out. But I've also been working on like new AI tools, like Adobe Premiere Pro is a very popular video application that allows you to, well, it has a lot of features, but it has some AI tools that I think we could use. And I'm also planning to hire some video editing help at some point. I've also been working closely with Rosmari on this as well, a lot of this different stuff. So huge thanks to Rosmari. But basically, I think we have an opportunity to promote what we did at the anniversary and use what we did at the anniversary as a really great promotion. One of these is with video production. Also, another of these is with social media promotion, starting with the Fireside Chats and also with the AI tools, but also going beyond that too, using new AI tools, using Notion, using these new video production tools to maximize the effect that we have in promoting what we did at Eden Fractal and getting the word out more to the EOS community and the wider EOS community. So I'm a bit disorganized going all over the place right now because lots of stuff been going on, so I didn't get a chance to organize this as well as I would like to, but it will be more organized in the future, and I'll come up with a deeper plan next week probably. But you can see the video from Eden Fractal 52. I made a nicer thumbnail for this week, and then I'll be coming out the 53rd one this week. I also want to announce the winners and the prizes too. So Rosmari did this in the Signal spreadsheet that we had, and I've also been working on this with Noam and Rosmari as well, as I think I mentioned before. But we've been working on automating the signal power formula, and once again, I think this could be a really helpful way to pass proposals more efficiently for alien worlds or anything else really, so we can pass proposals or express consensus opinions without having to have long discussions about it at the meeting necessarily. I think there's value in both, but this system, I think it proved very, very, like the proof of concept was very successful and very helpful. And so I think working with Noam, he managed to automate a lot of this so we can make it work better, and perhaps do it next week. I'm thinking about next week, we could have a Pomelo pitch session where we rank the most entertaining Pomelo pitches, and we use the Signals app as the second test of the Signals app. And I think that could be really good. And that can be a way to invite people in the EOS community. Basically, we have like amazing tools and all these things going, like these fractal consensus games, they work really well, and we have an opportunity to spread it more to the EOS community and the Alien Worlds community and the wider world. And so I think we have a great opportunity to promote what we're doing. So first off, I want to just follow up with winners and prizes. So for the Signals game, or for the most inspiring speech game, for anybody who wasn't there, we played 2 new games called Speeches and Fractal DJ, in which people gave speeches and people shared music, and then community members ranked that. And the most inspiring speech, we use this new Cignals game where we have these scores, signal power, that were derived from people's average rank over the past 12 weeks and if they're a delegate over the past 12 weeks. So people got more or less signal power based upon that, and that went into their votes. We used a Slido application where people could rank between 1 and 6, how much who had the best speech. That was the most amusing speech, most inspiring speech, and in Fractal DJ where we use Fractogram. So most people here, I think, so they're all familiar with that. These are who won the most inspiring speech. So first place was Jorge, second place was Gudasol, third place was Rosmari, fourth place was Noam, fifth place was me, and sixth place was Vlad. And then most amusing speech, Patrick came out well in the lead. This was one person, one vote with Slido. And then Rosmari in number 2, me number 3, Noam number 4, Jorge number 5, and Tadas number 6. And then we also have the Fractal DJ winners as well. You can see here, Perry won in the room I was in room 2, Jorge won. You can also check out the Fractal DJ chat in the Telegram group to see music that people shared during here. If anybody else shared music, I encourage you to share there. And then also in room 3, Vlad won too. I know Vlad is really into the drum and bass, so I'm interested to hear that. I haven't sent out the prizes for these games yet, so I'm giving 50 EOS according to the Fibonacci ratio of the most inspiring speech, or actually rather 100 EOS for the most inspiring speech that will be distributed. So for example, Jorge with the top spot will get approximately 40, Gudasol will get like 25 or so, and according to Fibonacci, and most amusing speech will be 50 total, and that means that Patrick will get something like 20, I think, and so forth. And Fractal DJ, there's 50 for everybody combined who came to consensus too. From where is coming the money? That's from me. I'm donating that from what I've earned in different like Eden on EOS and stuff like that to raise for public goods. So in addition to the 100 EOS that Patrick gives out each week for the normal consensus games that we play with Eden plus Fractal, Patrick's donated something like 5,000. I gave about 500 and 100 per week. But Patrick's give me something like that, so my numbers might be wrong. But for this, at least, in addition to the 100 EOS that we normally give out each week, I also give out an extra 200 EOS to Fractal DJ and to the most inspiring speeches and most amusing speeches. Is it really that loud, Patrick? I'm sorry if it's that loud. I will mute myself for a moment.
Okay.
How loud is it? Can anybody else confirm? Is it very loud and very distracting when that is going on?
It's loud. We should get somebody else to say something.
Okay. Well, they just went away, so I'll just wrap it up really briefly. But basically, I'm working with Vlad. I spoke with Vlad about deploying the contract on Eden Creators account, so I'm going to send it out soon. And I'm also working with Douglas on sending in more NFTs too. And then I'm working on showing the video and have ideas about how we can cut clips from each of the speeches, and also the Fractal DJ game to promote it, and then make tweets as well, and then use AI tools to do this much more effectively. And I think that going forward in the next year, we can use these tools as well as Notion projects to become way more efficient. And then there's also some more topics too, but I'll wrap it up there, and I will also mute myself if the lawnmower comes back. Thank you for listening. Hope that all made sense. Happy to answer any questions. Also happy to wrap it up now if you'd like as well. Any thoughts?
Beautiful, beautiful. That's Eden Fractal. That's the contribution of the people into this Eden Fractal with music, or maybe with something serious, sometimes fun. That's Eden Fractal. That's the planet Eden Fractal here. That's what I love.
So Eden Fractal.
But I love also Alien World. I was doing a mind map for Alien World, but I am no more participating in Alien World, so I don't know nothing what is happening there. Just that Vlad is in good position there, and I am happy for you. But otherwise, I don't know anything of this stuff, and I will say it's good because I am focused here. And then I will love surely Alien World for sure. And I respect Lisa. I respect Noam. Don't take wrong my no, okay? Because in general, my no can change. So, but for the moment, I say no. That's just that.
I said no too, but I think it's important when we say no.
I have explained into the chat here. You can go up and you see why I have said no. If you read. But yeah.
Is that?
Okay.
Okay, I see Vlad has his hands up.
So it seems Dwayne voted on consortium, yes, like in the beginning of the main room. So I think we passed.
Declare it already.
Voila!
Okay, interesting.
Good happening. Good happening. Also, if I voted no, so that's okay.
You're gonna have to modify the process, though, Dan. Dan, I think you have to modify the process to allow an extension beyond the 1 hour, right?
Well, Dwayne voted for that an hour ago, right?
Oh, we did. Okay, so it was within the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
So I
There
think
are
it's
some exception here, some exception. Yeah.
all right. So
if
I think
if that was me, there would never have an exception for sure. But here there is.
I don't think it was really an exception because it happened. Dwayne voted an hour ago. Apparently, we didn't see it, and that was during the hour. But anyway, I suppose that's. I don't totally know. I guess congratulations, Vlad, on the first proposal. But I don't know if we should. Is that official? Because most people weren't here and they didn't know it. I guess it is, but I don't know. I suppose we can wrap it up though, and we can also follow up at this in the chat. But I think that should count though, probably. I also kind of want to wrap it up too because I'm very much like handicapped right now with this lawnmower person, and so my apologies once again for the loud noise. I'm going to
Congrats, Vlad.
Yeah, congrats, Vlad.
Congrats, Vlad. You have made it. That's beautiful. Yeah, baby. Also, if I said no, also if I said no, you see the outcome
Dan,
of the
could you
Eden
bring
Fractal?
back the lawnmower, Dan, please?
You lose your right to sing if you don't vote in the election.
I'll have to wait for the lawnmower to drive by again. He'll be back soon, I bet.
No, Dan, it looks like you're sitting in front of tall blades of grass. So when the sound of the lawnmower is coming, it's a little terrifying.
No!
Oh!
No, it's a green screen, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, good.
The lawnmower is well outside, and he's
You're
about.
not tiny in front of.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not the same grass you've been in front of.
You need that sound effect whenever Patrick starts to run on a bit.
By the way, good news that Eyeke custodians do have a Telegram group for conversation now. Woohoo!
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, cool. So thanks, Lisa.
Good news.
Good news.
Yeah, that changed all. Yeah, for sure.
Shall we wrap it up? Is there anything else anybody wants to say during this meeting?
You know how we
everybody?
You know?
Yes, I have a question. Do you already have a wax wallet? I don't want to propose that one is created if you don't, because I think Patrick brings up a really good point, is that Eden Fractal should have support in various ways for taking on initiatives in different arenas, so to speak. And so it would make sense to provide some of that support.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if that would really be helpful at the moment, if it were, if there was a, wax wallet. And I understand IBC solutions are soon coming for us to facilitate this, and anyone feel free to recommend. But meanwhile, do you have one already?
Sounds good. I have a personal account. I'm not exactly sure what you're looking for, but also maybe we should follow up with this later, Lisa.
Yeah, no, I meant, should I make a proposal for Eden Fractal to create a wax wallet?
Okay, interesting. I mean, you could, or anybody could make it as well. But yeah, how about we follow up with this in the chat afterwards, Lisa?
Yeah,
sure. Okay, cool.
That's super news, yeah. Because we need more people joining Eden Fractal, and if they come from Alien World, that will be cool, because on Alien World you have not bots. Yeah, you have, but they are into an arena and they are fighting between them. So we need real people here.
Yes,
that's
agreed.
what I want to. That's what I want to see into Eden Fractal. More new people joining, not always the same face. Oh, we have Melissa today. Yeah,
and David too. And thanks
David
again,
too,
David
yeah.
and Melissa, for joining. It was great hearing from both
Melissa,
of you. I hope you enjoyed, and hope you
I forgot to mention David. I mentioned Shrimp and Amber from previous weeks.
Oh, Amber, yeah, Amber. If Amber would be here today, we have four women, four Fractalian women, because we need more women here.
And in the metaverse, we don't care as much. we pay less attention to that sort of thing in the metaverse.
Yeah,
All right.
However,
Absolutely.
I'm happy to bring more people as
Yeah, absolutely.
They want women, not people.
It's good to have all people, and thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Lisa, for advocating and inviting Melissa and David. Thanks, Melissa and David, for joining. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Really appreciate.
Yeah.
Vlad, congrats on the proposal, and Patrick and Lisa and Rosmari and Noam, Terry. Thanks a lot. I see Perry has his hands up. I don't know if that's current, Perry. If you want to share anything, I do recommend that we wrap it up pretty quickly. Perry, you want to share any last thoughts? I see some hearts around too. Nice.
I want to help you close out the meeting and just bring up the point that I think it's a great sign that all these groups, Eden on EOS and Alien Worlds, are so interested in what we're doing here, and that's a very positive sign for us. Even though we're having a lot of fun, it indicates that there's something of value here. And I also want to bring up the point that Rosmari made in chat, which is this is one of the points that Patrick and I rarely agree on, is I would say maintaining. Let's say I'm not putting. I don't want to put words in Patrick's mouth, but maintaining the sanctity or the independence of this group is important, because many different groups are pulling on it. And that's okay, and it's good to share that we want that, but at the same time, it's important that we maintain the purity of this. Some group has to maintain the purity of this process, and I'm glad to be part of this group that's doing that. So that's all.
Excellent points. Thank you, Perry. I agree.
For
I'm stoked
sure,
that
for
people are
sure.
trying. Just let me say something, Patrick. Here, I'm in the middle of speaking, and you have figs, and you're talking. So, that looks pretty funny too. But yeah, Perry, I agree. I'm glad that everybody's having fun, and also people are being attracted, and also agree with you about, well, promoting good principles for the foundation of cooperation. Anyway, thanks for helping us wrap up, Perry. And I suppose we're ready to wrap up. Anybody have any other thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, I have my raise hand, not electronical, my real fucking hand. Yeah, and we have Rosmari papas that turned it just into an animal.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will say something here, clear. It is recorded? Okay. I will say, here we are not hypocrite. We will always say what we think. Also, if this is not good to hear, but we will always say what we think. We are integrity people here. We are not sheep. We are lions, because sheep never lead, lions never follow. So that's why we are good here. We say what we think. We want to improve the processes. We join with we connect. Let's connect with other circle like Alien World, and I am happy. Yeah, baby. If that give more user also to Eden Fractal, and that we have the possibility to connect with Wax Cloud Wallet, that would be nice. I will do the same into EOSDIN. Yeah, Vlad. We will implement that also into EOSDIN, because we don't want to have only people of EOS. We want to have people of all the coalition antelope network. That's what we want. That's that I want, sorry. I don't want to put word into the mouth of the people like stated our dear Perry, that is becoming a nice ship, by the way, week after week. He's becoming very calm. That's beautiful.
Stop
okay,
that.
So now I will put my hat and we will wrap it up, this episode.
Argumentative, Your Honor.
No,
that's wrapped
today
up.
I am not wearing my hat. I have
a bird.
Where's your hat?
A bird. Oh, I need a nut. Moment, a nut. Where is my hat?
And
Where
by the
is
way,
my hat?
All right,
my hat.
You could just find the hat, Patrick, without shouting it.
My hat.
Also, Melissa and David, and also Vlad. I don't know if you've been around for the end when we put hats on sometimes, but this is kind of an Eden Fractal tradition. So if you'd like to turn your camera on and put a hat on and say "Go Eden Fractal" with us, you're very welcome.
Absolutely.
Hey, Melissa, I hope you enjoyed listening in.
Melissa,
Great to see you again.
Yeah,
Nice hat,
where
Vlad.
am I? Where did I land?
Yeah, I am Elton
By the way,
John.
Melissa, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I am Elton John. I just
How
coming
did I-
from France. I have a concert there. I was
Cool.
in France. Really, I was in France.
Thank you,
À la Tour
Elton John
Eiffel,
Overjoy.
Tour Eiffel.
And I see
I am
Melissa's
Elton
unmuted
John.
now. So let's give
Yeah, yeah. Next time
Yeah.
I don't have a hat to put on, but
Oh,
okay.
that's all right. Next
Cool.
time I'll be prepared.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay, stay with me. Stay with me. Beer with me, because I am Elton John. And I will sing something for you, Melissa, because you are new here.
It's going to be a long song, Patrick.
No. Very
You
short.
make it very quick, right?
No, very quick, because that's Elton John. I have just some minutes to say. I am excited to see you here again, everyone, because I have a lot of fun. I am hoping to see you again. I am hoping to see you again.
Beautiful, Patrick. Thank you.
Beautiful.
We love you. Okay,
Beautiful.
Bravo.
Encore,
All right.
encore.
Are you ready?
Okay.
We can go 3, 2, 1, go Eden Fractal. Sounds good.
Dance in Joy, the best dog in the galaxy. Pat Nova Joy, the most honest man in the galaxy. And now we will say at 3, 2, 1, and 0. Go
Eden Fractal.
You understand?
Yeah.
And shout out to Vlad and Red.
All right.
Well
Shout out to
done.
Vlad and Red. Yeah, congrats. And thanks everybody so much. And see you all next week. Thanks for the awesome
Vlad,
meeting. Really
when did you
appreciate
get
it.
that hat?
Thank you.
Vlad,
What?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was wondering where that hat's from.
I do this.
We going to the beach. Fishing.
It is a fishing hat, yeah.
I think it's from some kind of sports shop.
Yeah.
Looking at the mall.
There we go.
Adidas.
Very nice. Okay. So I see you have your hand, Patrick, but I
No,
was
sorry, that's,
because I wanted the recording to know what Vlad's had, so I can wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks all.
Okay.